Apologies off the top, folks. A couple of tech issues already plaguing us on night one of the brand new season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. You are watching live pictures from the Virginia International Raceway of the opening round of Player 1 Sim Gear Super 3 for the new term. Good evening. Nice to have you along for the ride, everybody. Welcome to the brand new season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Season 16. Term 1, night 1, week 1, here we go. And the more things change, the more they stay the same, whether it's 2024 or 1912, depending upon where you're living. And I made the dreaded trip back up the highway into 1912 yesterday. Hello to all of our friends in Queensland. Already, as you can see here, and you've picked up this race right off the start, quite a few cars just nutting out the gremlins. And unfortunately, just blowing out the cobwebs. They're a little bit rusty after so much time out of the rig, kicking up the dirt and mowing the grass on the way through. Already running into trouble. That was Gary Wellman on screen, but earlier Damien Cairns, Blake Fitzpatrick, Sean McClure ran into some trouble. But the rest of the field off to a safe and steady start. So yes, season 16, 2024 term 1, and can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this is now the 5th year in which we've been broadcasting on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. As per usual, I'm Zach Caven. Adam Lavis is here alongside me, and off the top, unfortunately, just a couple of little issues for our mate Adam Lavis. I was actually a little bit concerned that I wouldn't be with you at all. We had a ripper of a mini thunderstorm roll through here about 6 o'clock local time, 7 o'clock Eastern. But it was a storm in a teacup in every sense of the word. It was a blink and you miss it type of situation. The more things change, the more they stay the same on a Monday night for term 1 of the new season, folks. Yes, we've been away for, I think it ended up being 7 weeks, but this is Super 2 and Super 3 sharing the entree slot. We were going to bring you Super 2, but a few of those are still on holidays, it would seem. And then straight after it, how's this for a doozy of a combo? First up on a Monday night, Virginia International for the Super 2 and Super 3 cars. The GT3 Pro and Am, it's off to the Charlotte Roval. That is going to be an absolute ball terror, an absolute belter from 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Have a look at James Boardman under pressure there. Brendan Griffiths through to the insides. Tom Bitgood trying to go through with him, and Dimitri Kolbach, we were riding on board with there, getting gobbled up by the pair of them. Pete Matson in behind them sent me well wishes as we were getting ready to get up and underway. And welcome to you as well, Pete, and to everybody else joining us for the brand new season. Antonio Trezor over there in the United States on the East Coast, of course. Great to have you on board, tuning in the wee small hours, mate. What is it there, about 6 minutes to 4 a.m.? Either you're either just getting up, getting ready to go to work, or you've been watching the tennis from Melbourne Park. Night number 9 of the Australian Open underway. One or the other, but nice to have you on board. Of course, a big weekend in sim racing circles just gone. We had the Daytona 24-hour, huge news in the off-season in sim racing circles with the return of IndyCar to the platform in a multi-year agreement. And, of course, this weekend, the real world motorsport kicks in gear with the Daytona 24-hour, the Rolex 24, the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Not just tennis on tonight, but also cricket as well on the Gold Coast. I'm looking at all the empty seats down there, Adam Lavis, and I'm actually a little bit disappointed that I got called in a week early to work because the Brisbane Heat are playing the Adelaide Strikers for a right to play the Sydney Sixers in the grand final on Wednesday night, and the Heat are 1 for 29 in the fourth over at the moment. The job is left to Josh Brown and also McSweeney to try and bolster up the run rate there and set Adelaide a challenging target to chase. Good evening to you, Josh Zuno, as well. I'll eventually get into play-by-play commentary here, folks, because we've got a very interesting race on our hands here, a little bit less so for Brendan Griffiths now with that moment at turn 1. So yes, we're back, and it's important to note that we are actually back a week earlier than what we were saying we would be. The decision has been made And I'll bring Adam Laverson at this point in time. Mate, good evening to you. Happy New Year. Welcome. The decision was made by the committee to go back to the 2022 calendar, which was 10 weeks, then 2 weeks off, 10 weeks, 2 weeks off, 10 weeks, 2 weeks off, and 10 weeks to see us through. So all the Queensland kids went back to school today, and so did the GSRC kids as well. Welcome to you.
Yeah, good evening, Zach. Apologies for the rush start there, but pushed the go button on Streamlabs and it said no. So I had to try and figure out what its issue was, and finally got going just in time for the green light, so it was good to go. So we're off racing, and good to see a few guys out there already rubbing some panels and having a good time.
Yeah, technology is as predictable as a female, and as predictable as the lotto numbers, one or the other. Anyway, probably both. But no, great to have you back on board as always, mate. We will be here on a Monday night. We'll be here on a Thursday night. The rest of the broadcast schedule yet to be finalised and confirmed. Of course, we will have throughout the course of the season. You saw comments there from Josh Zuno. He will be here for the GSRC Endurance Championship getting underway in a couple of weeks. And of course, we will take you right through to the checkered flag on Friday, the 6th of December. That'll be our final Friday night, that'll be our final Friday night, weeknight primetime motorsport component offering of the fourth term this year. So we start a week early, we go a week later, but we get an extra little bit of time to recharge the batteries in the middle, which I think will do us all the world of good. Right, there's a mistake for Brendan Griffiths, and it's real squirrely on the exit of turn one. G'day, Dave Dench. Nice to have you on board as well. Michael Fraser leads this race at the moment. I feel as though on lap 5 we should finally start talking about the bloody thing. Aidan Schultz is sitting there in second. Tom Bidgood is third. James Boardman is fourth, and Brendan Griffiths at the back of that three-car train now in fifth. Was at the front of it at the start of the lap, as you saw. Reece Dickerson there in ninth place, hassling Pete Natson at the moment in the green and gold distinct Pete Natson colours. Up through the dog leg. Easy part of the circuit to come unstuck, and it does bite hard, but thankfully there's a lot of runoff area to the left and right, the grass there. It'll get a good mow from some of our competitors tonight. But it is a very easy part of the circuit to bugger up. So, what are we offering throughout the course of the campaign? Monday and Thursday nights remain the same for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll run through the rest of the schedule a little bit later on, but I'm already looking forward to Formula V, I must admit, on Thursday night, because it's been way too long since the vocal cords have been given a proper workout. So make sure you join us Thursday night, 7:40 Eastern Daylight Time for all of that. Right in the thick of day one of the test between Australia and the West Indies, and on the eve of Australia Day. So there is Pete Natson in the John Deere colours tonight, which brings me to a point that we didn't get to cover off the top, and I need to thank the following for their support of the club here. They include Waste Options, Sprayton Ciders, Player One Sim Gear, Lobsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. All those sponsors back on board and going around again for a new season. So a big thank you to you for all of that. 15 minutes to go here. Usual procedure, 25-minute race length, distance duration here. And of course, at the end of that, we will have seen these guys go through the motions for, well, what are we looking at now? We're on lap 6. We've got 15 minutes to go. So that's, if I was a gambling man, and I'm not, but I'd say we'll get another 5.5 laps in here, and then probably 3 laps to get us home. So we're looking at about 14 laps around the Virginia International Raceway tonight. But there'll also be a compulsory splash and dash component to this race as well, so be aware of that. And then, of course, there's a replay of all the carnage at the start. And then, of course, we turn our attention to GT3. And I only saw the calendar cross my desk here yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want the good news or the bad news? The bad news is there is no good news. For anyone that likes carnage, you're the winner tonight. It is Charlotte Roval and it is sprint racing. So there's a reverse grid component to the second race. And we know that there are some members of the cohort within the club, within that field, that will be a little bit squirmish just thinking about that tonight. So sprint racing to follow our coverage from Virginia. Good move there on the inside, but unfortunately too good for Brendan Griffiths. Went too deep, got crossed up, checked up, and is left to play on his own for a little bit. There's something about drift work at turn 1. There's a lot of competitors trying their best to be a wannabe drifter down here, and I'm not sure V8 supercars are the best cars to go drifting in, just quietly. A lot of locked brakes as well. And that's the good thing about tonight, Adam. Everybody's a little bit rusty, even commentators. We've been away for 7 weeks, so we will see these guys trip up a little bit as they just get a feel for things again.
Indeed will, and it's going to be interesting to see how they, because there's a lot of new drivers as well around, so people feeling each other out, finding what it's like to go side by side with some of the new guys. And Pete's having a bit of trouble here with his brakes. He might want to fix that brake bias up. He's had a couple of lockups now, and yeah, it's all fun and games.
And the good thing about what we're seeing here on screen at the moment, folks, is there are a couple of distinct battle packs around the traps as well. So Blake Fitzpatrick there on the inside of Thomas Foster. Thanks for coming. Done. Foster will tuck in behind and surrender.
And not only new drivers, some drivers have got new teams. I see Blake's joined the Pacific Esports team, so he's got some new colours.
And not only that as well, mate, but also I think you'll find throughout the course of the night, one of the great things about year on year for the GSRC is welcoming in new members. So there'll be a couple of new names to people tonight as well, including us.
Indeed.
Down the main straight. Ice Pack Gaming, Go Team Pelican. Isn't that nice? They've used the off-season and the resignation of Anastasia Palaszczuk, the Queensland Premier, to name a race team after her. That's fantastic. Stephen Banks, great to see Blake Fitzpatrick in his new team colours. Yes, couldn't agree more. Fraser leads, 3 seconds to Schultz, 3 seconds to Bidwood, and then Broadman, Griffiths, Dickerson, Colbatch rather. Fitzpatrick and Foster giving him a real hurry-up at the moment. That's that battle. 7th, 8th and 9th you see on your screen there. Damien Cairns and Patrick Frame have come to pit lane. The only other two to have completed their stops are Sean McClure and Gary Wellman. Justin Cotter is parked up for the night. This is Brandon Griffiths, another moment for him. Geez, that car's really not happy tonight, is it? And I dare say the driver won't be very happy either. Good battle pack forming here.
Also, a few of the pit stoppers have started, so there's a few guys doing their stops.
Indeed, there are. 3-car battle pack down the back straight. Foster looking for the double toe here. And up the outside. Colbatch and Fitzpatrick are side by side. Dickerson and also Griffiths. Griffiths leads the pack, which is now 5 deep. He's fallen back into the clutches of Dickerson, Fitzpatrick, Colbatch and Foster. There they are. One more slip up from Griffiths and it's going to be really costly. There it is. 1, 2, right on cue. 3, 4. Oh, no! It should have been 4. It wasn't. Thomas Foster's got him on the way through. I was just making the point that one more incident for Brandon Griffiths was going to be rather costly because of that incoming chasing, hounding pack of 4. 3 of them got through. Foster did not. Have a look at this. The road's going to close
he'd be
right in front
blinded.
of him,
He never saw him, then bang.
Bang.
Didn't even know he'd gone wide.
Couldn't see him. Got a rude shock when he did, though. That's both of them into pit lane. Thomas Foster on the tow rope. Brendan Griffiths to pit lane. Damien Cairns there as well. Oh, boy. The first big one of the season. Car-to-car contact and hefty at that. It only took 16 minutes. We'll go around the grounds at the completion of this race, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty happening on a Monday night. Night 9 of the Open, the second to last match of the BBL campaign as well. A lot of good sport to be excited about, but finally we've got some motorsport back on your screens as well. Aidan Schultz goes through past lap traffic there. I was getting all excited thinking that might have been Michael Fraser, but it wasn't to be. It was lap traffic getting it all crossed up. Tristan Koch it was. Down the main straight, there is Dimitri Kolbach going cross-country, and significantly so. How good's this? So Kolbach just missed his mark, didn't he? Too wide and locked it up, trying to correct it. It was just easier to cut the corner.
Fraser's off. Mistake from leader.
From that point, that is Fraser. Well, I didn't want to put the mocker on him, but I think I might have.
Luckily,
That's just liven things up a little bit.
He's got a decent gap, so he's got a bit of margin, but he doesn't want to do that too many more times.
He doesn't want to have a Brendan Griffiths sort of night, does he? And racing incident, Thomas Foster on Brendan Griffiths, that's just common sense from race control. Well done. Jamie Budd's in there tonight. But yes, Michael Fraser has got room to play with, but we saw what that did when Brendan Griffiths went off once, twice, 3 times. That gap evaporated, dissolved. Down the main straight again. Fraser, Schultz, Bidgood, Fitzpatrick.
The more racing for Dad's guys are getting plenty of coverage, but not always for the right reasons.
No, not at all. Bidgood all over the back of Schultz now. This is a live, active battle. So, I mean, Bidgood's actually come on leaps and bounds. He was about 3 seconds behind Schultz when we last checked the leaderboard, and he's slowly chipped away at it, and he's now within striking distance of our commentary colleague, and they're both diving to pit lane at the same time.
Is iRacing going to ping him for crossing that yellow line, though? Bidgood is one of the new members to our club, so welcome aboard.
Welcome to all the new members, to all the new viewers. Some of us are just old and stale by this point, Adam Lavis. We've been here that long.
Let's just hope iRacing is a mean and gives him a penalty in his first race with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is not up to us now. It's in the lap of the gods. Oh, dear.
Nah, he's good.
He's good.
Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's seriously, seriously hard luck. That is punishment with a capital P. And he's watching a potential podium finish slip right from his grasp.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him make that late lunge and cross that line, I thought, because VIR was one of those tracks I wasn't sure if it was strict like Red Bull Ring and Brands Hatch. And also, what's the other one? Rez. Rez is extremely vicious.
Yep. That's really bad luck on the first night of the term. Oh, boy. So Fraser leads, Ferguson second. They're the only two yet to stop. Fraser's got 25 seconds on Ferguson at the moment. Ferguson has got the English flag next to his name. So please tell me the GSRC is finally going global, not just with our audience, but with our competition base.
I believe he's also new to the club too.
Excellent.
Same livery as James Broadman, so I'm assuming they're mates, given that I believe the alcohol holder business is James's actual business.
So Ferguson, second place at the moment. In comes Fraser to complete his CPS. And Griffiths, Cairns and Foster are all parked up now. Brandon Griffiths is parked up. He's done. Damien Cairns as well. Thomas Foster and Justin Cotter. 4 retirements so far. Just 15 still running. Top 2 on the lane. Aidan Schultz will come through reasonably soon. There he is, top of screen. Here comes Schultzy. Fraser's on his way to pit exit and should be able to cover off Schultzy rather comfortably, and has done. The margin is still 3-4 seconds. So smooth sailing despite a mini hiccup for Michael Fraser. we always seem to get big GT3 fields opening night, opening term, opening installment of the season. I'm hoping that's true tonight, because the Charlotte Roval is a great little racetrack, provides no margin for error, provides great overtaking opportunities, provides genuinely good racing. I think tonight will be no exception. And that's coming up next for you. The entree to the main course on a Monday night, first time in 2024. Or, actually, it's afternoon tea into main course for those of you in Western Australia. You're just skipping the entree altogether, because most of you are still at work or just knocking off. So some live motorsport to watch on the commute home, albeit of the virtual variety. 3 minutes to go here. It'll be 2 laps at the line for Friday. Oh, actually, no, you know what? I think it'll be 2 laps. 2 laps at the line for Fraser. Yep, that'll be fine. He will get another 2 laps in. So we're going to go to 14, which I think is what I said, wasn't it? So good to see the calculator's not letting me down first night of the new term. 2 laps at the line for Fraser. 2.5 minutes on the clock. So we will do a little bit of overtime to get to that 14, but it doesn't matter. As long as you start that last lap before time expires, you'll get it in. Fraser starts lap 13. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Out of the final sequence of corners they come. We're watching Fitzpatrick, we're watching Ferguson, we're watching Colbatch up across the start-finish line once more. More hairy moments at one. Yeah, they all went deep. And the winner out of that was Blake Fitzpatrick, because he went the narrowest of the lot. He went the inside, the rest went the outside. And round the outside he now goes. Uses a little bit of the AstroTurf, but the job's done. Have a look at this. Can he hold that? Yes, why not? Well done. A little bit of hip and shoulder involved on that one. Had to get the elbows out, but made it work to his advantage. Fitzpatrick to 5th, Colbatch to 6th. Ferguson muscled out of it back to 7th. Matson is 8th under pressure from McClure. So even though the top end of the tree is spread out to, rather processional-like margins, there are still active battles for 5th and for 8th in this race. That is it. Just 5th and 8th to be decided here. Everything else is relatively lock, stock and barrel, provided that no one trips up on this final lap. 3.5 seconds the margin first to second. Blake Fitzpatrick now across the start-finish line. Next time by we'll get the white flag, and Fraser's on the main straight and about to get said white flag.
Pretty sure...
and that last sequence.
Oh,
he's locked up!
I think he's everyone's faulting though. They have.
Yep, and unfortunately for Colbatch, it was including an excursion into the grass. And a second one. So, Adam Johnson now showing off the track as well. Now, I said there earlier that Griffiths, Cairns and Kosh were showing us out of the race. That's not true. I've misread that one, folks. For some reason, the timing screen had stopped moving for them, so or it had stopped working at my end, and I've just read it as was, Anchorman style. But thankfully, happy to report that Griffiths has got back out there. Not the night he would have been hoping for. He's 15th after a stop time of 1 minute 25 seconds. Damien Cairns has got back out there after 3 pit stops. Tristan Kosh has got back out there. So just 17 cars remain in this race. And now Pete Matson's on the run home in the battle for 8th. Fair rate of attrition tonight. Fair few incidents. Few drivers riding luck. Few needing to buy some for next week. If they've had absolutely none tonight.
As we can see, Pete's supporting his own product. He's following his own sponsor for this race, using their product.
Yes. Actually, a few of the drivers tonight probably would have preferred to have a ride on mower around here. They've visited the grass on that many occasions. On to the main straight comes Michael Fraser. Fairly, relatively clear, smooth, clean sailing for him at the front of the field. Round 1 of the Player 1 Sim Gear Super 3 V8 Challenge goes the way of Michael Fraser. Well done. Aidan Schultz will pick up second. Consistency's the key here. Schultz is well aware of that. And that was a very smooth, solid, nice drive from him tonight. Boardman third, Dickerson fourth, Fitzpatrick fifth, Ferguson sixth, and Colbatch in seventh. Here comes Matson under pressure from McClure. McClure looking to get him in the drag race. Pulls out of the draft, goes for it. Matson, McClure, Matson, McClure, Matson, just 0.04 of a second. Our first photo of the year. And 10th was Tom Bidgood in all of that after that 53-second stop, 40 of which was purely stop and hold. And what a punishing 40 seconds it was. Here's that photo finish again. Matson and McClure. Slowing it down frame by frame.
Hang on, got too far.
Copy. We'll get back to them. Outside the top 10, it was Cowling, Wellman, Frame, Johnson, Griffiths, and Cairns, with Tristan Koch finishing a lap down as well. There it was. That's 0.04 of a second for you, folks. 2 teaspoons of sweet you-know-what. Sugar. Colbatch finishing there in 7th place. There are the results for you, confirming what we've seen. 27 minutes away from the start of race 1 of 2 for Waste Options GT3. That's coming up at 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time. I'll go around the grounds for you in just a moment. Fairly well spread out that field in the end. Just those 2 positional battles that we were talking about. Ferguson, Colbatch, McClure, and Matson. In the end, everybody else had the real estate to themselves, and they were just going through the motions. So there you go. For the first time this year, it's a very warm welcome to our mate Chris Stark, who joins us in the central commentary position at the moment. Starky, welcome. You're going to have to talk me through the lay of the land as far as your Super 2 race was concerned, if you were on the grid, mate, because I've only been watching Super 3. I haven't seen the results from the Super 2 server as yet.
Yeah. Shocking way to start. It's a shocking turnout too. Only 12 cars. I left the.
That's why we were watching Super 3.
Yeah, I left the quali set in and I jumped the start.
Oh no!
And there's some penalties that some boys will be protesting because they're not the best. So I'll talk to Lee about that later and we'll discuss it.
And Virginia International's a fair bit of a doozy to get us going as well. Do you reckon that has contributed to both A, the shocker for some, and B, the poor turnout, mate?
No, yes and no. Like, VIR is a great track. I think the speed of Greg Favell, and there's no reflection on him whatsoever. Well done to him. He's super fast. People aren't going to race the series. They got no hope of winning.
Yep.
I think that's what it is, to be honest. He's so fast that 2-3 seconds a lap quicker. And well done. Take nothing away from him. No. But are you going to join a series that you've got no hope of racing or winning? I do it for fun.
Yep. And that's a fair point, mate. And speaking of fun, it is. Can you believe 7 weeks has come and gone, and here we are again saddling up for year number 5 of the club?
Yeah, look, I wanted to change it up this year. We do all the same tracks day in, day out with Bathurst, and we've done Bathurst to death. So I thought I'd throw up some really different tracks. Get some people's skill level up. But most of the sets work at most tracks, let's be honest. There's a gear change or a camber change. And if people don't want to race because they're not the standard tracks, well, that's disappointing.
Fair enough. In fact, Adam, are we in a position to show the calendar to the audience at home for the Super 2s and Super 3s this season, mate? Thank you. 2024A. or Turn 1 or Season 16, whatever you want to call it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the lay of the land. What do you make of that, Starkey? I mean, I look at that and I see Phillip Island, I see Oran Park, two tracks that should attract good numbers. Barber's always a favourite. Long Beach is carnage. Laguna Seca is always fun. Detroit Belle Isle, same league as Long Beach. Donington Park will be interesting towards the back end of the campaign, and so too Mid-Ohio. But round 3 is going to be particularly interesting. The high-speed Italian MotoGP home venue, the Mugello circuit, the new drop on iRacing just before Christmas there, of course. It's a great circuit. It's a sweeping, fast-flowing circuit. We saw Formula One visit there during COVID years of 2020, of course, and it was an action-packed Grand Prix. And I'm already interested to see how these supercars will go around there.
Yeah, Mugello, because it's new, we picked it. It's not a very wide track. Let's face it, it's a two-wheel track. It's motorbikes. But, it's a mix of a lot of technical section and then one big, long straight. So getting the gearing right is going to be difficult because you've got to sacrifice something. You either sacrifice your straight-end speed down the straight, or you sacrifice some of that, quick out of the corners and quick around the technical section.
Indeed, and I noticed the extension of the name here in Discord committee. Nice to have you on board, mate. I mean, you've been a staple of the club for such a long time now, and when you mention about changing the calendar up and doing different things, it's nice to see that you've got a hands-on approach to the Super 2 this season.
Yeah, it gave me they asked me if I wanted to do it because I put in initially, then I withdrew, and then someone asked, I think it was Josh asked if I wanted to do it. I said, yeah, no worries. With my roster, sometimes I get a lot of days off. I just finished a run of 7 where I did 4 nights in 3 days, so I'm a little bit weary.
Yes.
But, yeah, so I didn't mind doing it, so I set the tracks up for Super 2. I got a lot of help from Adam, so thanks to Adam. It was a bit confusing at the start, but he showed me some shortcuts. And it makes me appreciate a lot of the work that the guys have done over the last couple of years in this club in setting up servers, getting everyone in, keeping everyone interested, making everyone happy. And you're never going to do that. You're never going to make everyone happy. If you want to do that, go open an ice cream shop and sell ice cream, then everyone will be happy.
Unless lactose intolerant.
Yep.
There you go.
And until the machines stop working, hello McDonald's. Very nicely done. Hey, Starkey, what's next for you, please? I mean, obviously, work dictates how much time you can play, so to speak, with us here in the servers. But obviously, we've got the same ritual on a Monday night, the same ritual on a Thursday night. What other categories are you hoping to have a steer of this season, mate?
I was thinking about GT3 tonight. Like, I'll miss next week because I'm on night shift on Monday, but it's the only round I'm going to miss on a Monday night. The rest, actually, might be a little bit in March because I know the ball and chain, I hope she's not watching, wants me to go away in the caravan, so we'll see what happens.
Indeed. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Great start to the campaign with what happened in Super 3. Obviously, bad luck for you in Super 2 and Greg Favell doing Greg Favell things, doing Dench-like things, but in a supercar, not a GT car. Appreciate that. We've got a few more contestants and contributors joining us in the commentary box now to have a chat post-race here. So we'll let you go, and we look forward to having a chat to you next week.
No worries. Well done to Greg and the boys. I know Greg here. I know we got damaged, but he only just won that one for a change.
Yeah. For a change. Let's see if they can peg him back and reel him in a little bit as the season goes on. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Well and truly, great to have you on board for another season, and nice to get the opening term and the opening night up and away. Nick Fodiatis, I'm coming to you in just a moment. Pete Matson, Michael Fraser, and Aidan Schultz as well. Quickly, just want to go around the grounds here and let everybody know that the Brisbane Heat are 2 for 127 and 11.1 overs in their challenger against the Adelaide Strikers. Winner to go to Sydney to take on the Sixers on Wednesday night in the big final in the BBL. At the Australian Open, we're in a match tiebreak situation between Alexander Zverev and Cam Norrie. Zverev leading that 7-2, first to 10. So Zverev looks like he's booking himself a quarterfinals spot. And Carlos Alcaraz currently leading his opponent in Kecmanovic. 6-4 and 4-3 in the second set there, day 9 of the Open on Rod Laver Arena. Aidan Schultz, Michael Fraser, and Nick Fodiatis are here. But first, I'll start with Pete Matson and say, mate, thank you for the message. Nice to have you on board again this season as well. Got that just before we went on air. Mentioned it during the call. Spent a little bit of time watching you actually during the race as well, mate, because you had a photo finish with Sean McClure. You had a couple of good battles in between the start and the finish as well. It was an interesting sort of race. Not much in the way of incidents, but a lot of locked brakes, a lot of grass clipping and whippersnipping, and it was somewhat appropriate that someone had the John Deere on deck ready for them to go.
Yeah, mate, it was pretty good. We need a boost button though. Like you just up the straight. They're just there. You just can't get them. But no, look, it was a good race. Yeah, hopefully I threw a couple of spins in there so everyone can go yay. But yeah, I was happy. Started 13th, I think, and finished 8th. So always looking for improvement.
Indeed, and once more, a top 10 finish for you, mate. Consistency is key in these championships, and we know that there'll probably be a few more numbers on the grid at a few other rounds of the campaign. VIR, the early start, a few other things contributing to only, what was it in the end? I think 19 cars, taking the start here tonight. But points on the board is better than not having a buffer to play with because you've already burned a drop round this early in the campaign.
Yeah, look, absolutely. For me, it's about moving up, but also looking at incident points and making sure that they're as low as possible. I think we only had one driver, which was Reese, that had 0 incident points. So, that's awesome. Congrats to him for that. But yeah, mate, I just want to do a quick shout out for tomorrow night. We've got the GT1 Civil War Homs versus Yanks on. Took the feedback from the members. Some of them didn't like my tracks last year, so we've gone some tracks that have a little bit more throttle, I suppose, and we can rev the engines out. So get along to that, everyone that wants to have a bit of a run in the GT1s.
All right, very nicely done. Where else are we going to see you dropping into the server and having a steer this season, mate? And how's the off season been for you? And how's business?
Business is fantastic. Orbic is going bananas. We're just about to launch in the UK, so that's a feather that's been placed on me. So there's a bit of stuff happening over there at the moment. I couldn't be happier. So we're going to sponsor, I think, Joe's charity race coming up. We're going to give away an Orbic tablet for that. But I'll race every night of the week if I can. So work needs to finish at a certain time. So
yes, exactly. And unfortunately, we're hamstrung for another 2 and a bit months, Pete Matson. On that note, I've already had a cheeky jab or two in the direction of the alleged Sunshine State, where I've got friends down at Melbourne Park at the moment sending me photos. It's close enough to 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The sun's still up and shining. And what is it here? Pitch bloody black.
There are some benefits, Zach. I have a 10.
I am yet to see them, Pete.
Mate, a 10:30 conference call in Queensland. It's 9:30. So, mate, I don't have to wait up all night.
Well, that's a fair point. Although, that being said, at least you got some good sport to keep you company if you do a late night at the moment, Pete. Not so this time next week. But anyway, hey, thanks for dropping on by, mate. Good luck for the rest of the night and the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Michael Fraser, let's go to you. Well done. Congratulations on the W tonight. It looked relatively smooth and clean. One little slip along the way, but thankfully you had a big enough buffer to play with, and you kept our good mate, our commentary colleague Aidan Schultz behind.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, certainly had a little bit of a scare. I'd say turn 1 was a little bit of a clench moment too. There was an awful lot going on. I guess I didn't get the best start, and that might have saved me from some of the carnage that went on with the other boys.
Indeed. VIR, a circuit that you like, or was it just one that you're happy to tick the box with and move on forward to Belle Isle on the rest of the calendar?
I love VIR. It's got a really nice flow to it once you do a few laps, and Yeah, no, happy to go there any day.
And you gained 3 positions throughout the course of that race, so you were the beneficiary of some misfortune for those around you, but you gained them fairly early in the piece as well.
Yeah, it was pretty much all lap 1. Well, was Aiden lap 1 or lap 2? Not sure, but I seem to have a little bit of straight line speed on Aiden. I don't know if he's running a bit more wing than me. That was certainly helping me down that long straight. Yeah, once I managed to clear him, yeah, was able to maintain a gap. As you say, there was the one moment where I slid off.
And only one. Others weren't so lucky. 2, 3, 4, and eventually frustrated and give up. But in saying that, mate, nice start to the season. What are your expectations here? What are you hoping to achieve across the 10 weeks?
Oh, look, I don't know. I'm taking it a week at a time, but just really enjoying it. Ran the whole season last season, and it's nice to feel like you're getting a bit of improvement out of it, eh?
Exactly right. Improvement's always a good thing. That being said, there'll be a few people searching for a bit of improvement next week. A little bit rusty out of the blocks first up in the new season, but that's to be expected, mate. Well done. Thank you. And looking forward to watching you turn wheels in anger for the rest of the campaign. Will we see you in any other categories, or is it just the supercars?
Just the supercars at the moment. Got to, schedule something in. It's good to have a regular every week.
This is very true. This is very, very true. I wish I could say the same. Now, thanks for your time tonight, mate. Go well. We'll catch up next week.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
From Michael Fraser to two fellow Queenslanders, and I say that with gritted teeth, Aidan Schultz and Nick Fodiatis, not because I don't like the gentleman that I'm about to talk to, but because I don't like the fact that we're stuck here 112 years behind civilization. Schultzy, clean, solid run for you, best of the forwards in the field, and in the end, mates, consistency was key to your championship last season. It looks like you're going to follow a similar line of approach in 2024.
Yeah, mate. Long series. Thanks for that too, by the way, Zach. Good to be back here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club streams. But it was, the baseline sets as we do and as I do usually. So just cruising around, and I tell you what, it was a good race though, and long championship. We got drop rounds. We got everything going. Obviously, didn't have anything to fight for the win tonight. I probably did, but at the same time, there on the side of caution, not taking anything away from the winner tonight. But it was great, mate. It was a good race. Coming very underprepared after doing the 24-hour and getting a podium in that, and not doing any laps. So happy with that one, mate.
I was going to say it was a fairly busy weekend for a few of our club members, including yourself, mate. Just a nice little warm-up, really. 24 hours around Daytona.
Yeah, mate. Well, warm up if you call it, I tell you. I'm still struggling trying to walk, to be honest. But it was a good race. But tonight was a good race as well. I would not mind if I don't see the back of Daytona for about 3 months, to be honest.
I know I've seen Daytona on the schedule somewhere down the line, but it's a different Roval for GT3 tonight. We're off to the Charlotte Roval, and that in its own right presents some wonderful racing and some good challenges. But in saying that, jumping out of a sports car and jumping into a supercar also brings its own set of challenges, mate, and so too does this circuit. VIR, it's not the easiest racetrack to master.
Yeah, definitely. Michael just mentioned, he loves it. I don't. I'm not very quick around there at all. I think I was 6 in quali or something. I got a ripper start, which helped me get out of the rubbish that happened on turn 1. Outside of that, it was just about perseverance, or what's that word? Perseverance, that's it. And just trying to keep the car clean and roll through, mate. So we did that. We got a big bank of championship points, and we go into round 2, and we'll see how we go.
Schultz giving everybody his own dose of, or his own treatment of the English language first up in 2024. Very nicely done. Okay, so the obvious question, Thoughts on Belle Isle? That's next week for the supercars. Thoughts on the rest of the season, mate? Because I know that you'll pop up in a race car elsewhere along the way on one of the other weeknights.
Yeah, mate, Detroit being the concrete jungle, it's going to be a little bit about the same word we just said before. I'm not going to repeat it. But it's going to be a little bit like that, I think. Just trying to get points and come out of there solid is going to be a really big thing with the drop rounds and stuff like that. If you can get some good results on those tricky tracks, it's going to really, really help. So it's not about winning next week. It's about just banking some points, and then we'll get onto some of the better tracks that I'm at, and we'll go and play and hopefully get into Super 2.
Oh, mate, very nicely done. And obviously nice to be back in the regular swing of things after a busy off season and Christmas period.
Yeah, it's been great, mate. I had my kids down over the Christmas period, which was nice. Good to see you down there catching up with the family and stuff down in Northern New South. So that was really good as well. Yeah, getting back into the swing of things, and we'll see how we go, mate. Yeah, looking forward to this season. It's going to be really good. A lot of new faces, a lot of fast drivers, and can't wait for it, mate. It's going to be great.
All right, mate, very nicely done. I'll let you go. We'll quickly jump from you to Nick Fodiatis and then move into the GT3s. Go well.
No worries, mate. I'll be there. I probably won't have time to qualify, but I'll be at the back and I'll be making my way through at some point, hopefully, if I don't crash.
Nick's a big fan of the Burn from the Stern concept. Do him proud. Go well. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. Merry Christmas to you and your family too, mate.
And Happy New Year as well. Although that being said, hang on. No, it's all right. I had friends that had Christmas trees up in January. In Wollongong and Dapto, they had a Christmas tree up on the 4th of January. I thought that was getting in a little bit early. I had Virgin Australia welcoming me to check in my flight by saying season's greetings. And now I've got you saying Merry Christmas in January. So we're off to a flying start. From Aidan Schultz to Nick Fodiatis, who's also off to a flying start. You've got yourself a new recruit there at Aussie Races. We'll get to him in just a moment. But before all of that, how'd you go in Super 2, please?
Good evening. Hello and welcome, everybody. Look, only 12 cars took to the race, and I finished midfield.
And again, consistency is key for you, mate.
Well, yeah,
that's important.
The front 5 cars were pretty much all together, so we were just getting dropped by those guys, and I made a mistake, and Will Buchanan got past me, so I had to settle down, do my pit stop, and then get back out on it. And I had 2 lap newer tyres, and I just put the pressure on him and finally got past him with a lap to go.
All right, very nicely done. Now, let's talk more broadly, because obviously we didn't actually see your Super 2 race there, so it's a bit hard to really, direct questions to you regarding that.
That's
other
all right.
than to ask you for the result. The team this year, mate, you've got a new recruit, and he also prides himself on consistency, so he'll fit right in.
Well, yeah, exactly. We have grown our team by another member. Dale Sharp out there was just by himself, so we've grabbed him into the team, and he tends to do the stuff that we tend to do. So we're always around on the same part of the track. So it was always just a no-brainer for myself and Paul to get him on board. And
as for the rest of the season, mate, I mean, obviously this is the start of a 10-week campaign. What's ahead for you? GT4, I know, is a must-do, a mainstay for you. And we've got a new look for some open wheel racing on Friday night. Not least, of course, we're excited to have IndyCar officially back, being referred to as IndyCar later in the year as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Pete wants to push the pass button, with Friday nights we got the Super Formula with almost virtually unlimited push to pass for a fair chunk of the track. So we got that happening for the next 10 weeks on Friday nights. We'll then roll that over to IndyCars. Still trying to get that sorted out. I'll, depending on the start times, because I do have to duck off pretty much after this. Depending on the start times, I'll be in the GT4s, and we got some things coming in that. There's a whole bunch of us. We've changed cars. Not going to reveal what car yet.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you're not commentating on that one, but
No.
we got a livery, a special livery coming through mid-season as well. Paul's already worked on it, got it ready. And yeah, as for that, I just want to stay out of the 38 degrees here in Brisbane. I don't know how much it was in Ipswich. I'm assuming 42 or something like that.
39 and it feels like 46.
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
And what a day to have the air conditioning conk out at my work. But anyway,
Yep.
I'm just glad I wasn't in the workshop. Yeah, just got to keep cool until then. And just I'm going to pace myself a little bit this season, whereas I try to drive almost every night for last season, which kind of burnt me out towards the end there. So doing a bit of rally on the side, watching Netflix documentaries. By the way, I highly recommend the Beckham one.
Okay. Copy that.
And being a proud Brisbane boy, Boy Swallows Universe, I highly recommend that too. So trying to pick the filming locations and the like. But anyway.
Mate, great to catch up with you as per usual. First one of the new season. Great to see you back on track. Glad that Christmas and New Year went well and is behind us now, and we can strap in and buckle up for year number 5 of this magnificent club.
Yeah, exactly. As for the temperature in this particular room, I'm going to have to get like a tennis sweatband and look like somebody at the Aussie Open because it is ridiculous. I've had the air conditioning running and the like, and it's still heat soaked in this room.
I'm not going to lie, I don't have a pool and I don't have a very high pressure shower here in my residence in Ipswich. So the hose out the front did the trick this afternoon, and the fan blazing full tilt tonight, just keeping me at a nice moderate temperature at the moment so that I can focus on the task at hand.
Well, I guess in the coming week and a bit there's going to be the remnants of the tropical cyclone up north, so it's just going to be raining for the next couple of weeks. So we'll complain about it now, but it should be good in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, it won't be any good if it ruins the test match this weekend, I'll say that much. Thank you, Nick Photiadis.
No worries, thank you. Have a good night, guys.
We will indeed. There he is, one of the stalwarts, one of the originals of this club, Nick Photiadis. Quickly going around the grounds before we turn our attention to what's on your screen there, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe what you're witnessing on the Gold Coast at the moment? If you're a fan of the Brisbane Heat and you haven't got your sports bar set up tonight, ladies and gentlemen, aren't you missing out? You should have the tennis on one screen, the cricket on the other, and us on a third if you've got that many devices at your disposal. 2 for 172, the Brisbane Heat in the 15th over. The current run rate is 11.73. Josh Brown, not Josh Brown from Motorsport circles, Josh Brown, the cricketer, currently, he almost got caught, but instead it falls through the fingertips of the fielder and goes for 4 more, is 125 of 48 balls. 125 of 48 balls. And Matt Renshaw is 4 off 6, 2 for 176 in the 15th over. Just extraordinary hitting. And the Adelaide Strikers are going to have a huge task on their hands if they're to chase that down, but they do have some of the best in the business if they're going to do it in front of a mediocre crowd on the Gold Coast on a Monday night, I must say. The Australian Open, Alexander Zverev through 7-5, 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 7-6, and that was a 10-3 result in the breaker against Cameron Norrie. So the 6th seed goes through to the quarterfinals, and Carlos Alcaraz is 2 sets to the good, 6-4, 6-4 on his Serbian opponent, Kecmanovic. So, and 1 love, about to be 2 love in the third. So Carlos Alcaraz, the 2nd seed, waltzing through into the quarterfinals at the moment at Melbourne Park. Here on your screens on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we're at the Charlotte Speedway Roval. We're bringing you, you can tell how rusty I am out of the blocks tonight, Adam Lavis. So I was thinking, what the hell are we doing here? Standard procedure as introduced late last year. We will bring you the opening heat from the AM split, then quickly switch over and bring you the second heat from the Pro split. We're looking forward to that immensely. And this is the lay of the land for race 1. This is the grid. And we've got an eclectic mix of Porsches, BMWs, Mercedes, Lambos, and Audis filling the top 10 spots. We've got a couple of Ferraris just outside as well. No love for the Ford and no love for... Oh, no, we've got a Ford. Yes, we do, down in 20th. And we've got a McLaren down there in 27th as well. So the late manufacturers are being gobbled up there. How good's that? Zach Christie will start from pole position against... alongside him will be Richard Banerjee, yeah, Banerje, Banerjee, yeah, new name of the club, just joined today. Tom Bidgood second, Brett McMullen and Alex Court, the next couple there on the grid. William Yarwood makes up the third row alongside Alex Court. Great to have Alex Court on the GSRC platforms, one of Aidan Schultz's teammates, a guy that I've been familiar with in sim racing circles for a while now, down in Apple Isle territory, Tassie. Patrick Frame, Chris Morgan, Dale Sharp and Scott Wood in the top 10, then Adam Chiplin, Warren Ibert, then Josh Thomas, Adam Holland, Philip Butler, Bradley Curtin, Chris Stark, Lee Roberts, and Neil Gladwin and Jordan Ferguson take us back to 20th on the grid. The 11th row is Josh Maynard, Dean Eldridge. 12th row, Matthew George and Adam Johnson. 13th row, Aidan Schultz and Christian Koch. And I'm not sure that Wayne Viz is going to line up just yet. James Boardman and Rick Jones have joined the field at the back. We're waiting to see if Wayne Visser, Gary Cousins, Paul Wood and Lockie Beresford join the fold as well. We could have as many as 32 starters, as little as 28. Clock has expired for those guys to join us, so we are down to 28 from the outset here, which means we've only got 7 manufacturers. There is no McLaren on that grid. We're seeing something special on the Gold Coast. How about that? 2 for 183 now at the Brisbane Heat. Hard to take your eyes off that while we're watching GT3 racing, but we'll do our best to keep you updated with the scoreboard from the Gold Coast tonight. Great to have so many people tuning in for night one of the new GSRC season across the platforms of the club, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Now, young Zach Christie's just a little bit too keen to get going there, nearly passed the pace car. Nearly had a Days of Thunder moment. Let's get ready to rock and roll. We're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. First time we've been here for GT3 racing in a while. It is sprint racing first up in the new campaign. Between races, we'll bring you the full suite of the calendar, the schedule, and what it looks like for you. Single file formation for the much part, though. I don't like that, I must say, as the new season gets underway for Waste Options GT3, ladies and gentlemen, because already the potential for any action and carnage is gone in the early parts. Surely there's got to be a way for iRacing to waive the start through the banking and not through that dicky chicane, just so that we can have a proper race start rather than an Indian file one. That's horrendous. But I guess the saving grace for everybody that's competing is that they're all safely through the first sequence of corners and on their merry way. So GT3 AM first up, then GT3 Pro. Just to answer Dave Dench's question, yes, we'll take you to GT3 Pro on the back end of this race. Out along the oval for the second time through the chicane on the back straight. Zach Christie holds the early lead. Porsche leads. Oh, hang on. Richard Banerjee, had an enormous moment coming out of the chicane. He's gathered it up, but he had a moment. He was running very wide. He was heading towards them. That would have been a scary moment for Alex Court and Tom Bidgood, who were in close tow there. But yes, Zach Christie leads this thing and does lead it comfortably. 1.3 the margin after the opening lap. Let's have a look at it again. This is Lockie Beresford on the opening lap, the only real moment that we've seen here. Here's Stowe Motherless last after starting at the back of the grid in pit lane, opting for that pit lane start. Good to be back. Hopefully no Jay Attard moments. If you know, you know. Koopy Roo, good to have you on board. Thanks for coming on back for 2024. An Olympic year. Very excited about that. How many GSRC nights are we going to have? Late July, early August, where I'm just going to be saying to everybody, look, no post-race show tonight. Go and watch the Olympics and enjoy yourself. How good's that going to be on the wide world of sports? Now, 2.5 minutes gone here. Zach Christie leads. Richard Banerjee in second. I'll get that name right by the end of the night. Alex Court, Tom Bidgood, and Brett McMullen, the top 5. Single file formation by way of that Indian file start as they make their way through for the 3rd time. Lap 3 of how many laps have we got for the opening race here, please, Adam Labus? 21 minutes, 16 laps. And if you do the numbers, ladies and gentlemen, basing it on about a 1 minute and 15 lap, that's 4 laps every 5 minutes. And given that there's a little bit of overlap in that with the times being in the 1 minute 16s, 4 4s are 16, and that'll get you into that 21st minute well and truly. Synchronised spinning there for Adam Johnson and companion. And this is Chris Stark at the chicane. Oh, got balked by the car in front. Had nowhere to go. Two for 192 on the Gold Coast 2 as well, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Brown's 140 off just 56 balls. So keep an eye on that. That's an unfolding situation. As is this opening race of the GT3 campaign. So same procedure as always, folks. We'll finish this race. We'll switch the server. We'll bring you the results from race 1 of the other split, the pro split. At the end of race 2 over there, we'll bring you the results of race 2 over here. These guys will be about 5 minutes ahead of the pro split, just so that we've got that time lapse to switch servers and the like. Josh Brown's finally gone for 140 off just 57 balls. So 3 for 192 for the Brisbane Heat with 21 balls left in the innings, and they've only now just taken the power surge. So whoever comes in to join Matt Renshaw is going to have to get on with it to continue putting the foot to the throat of the Adelaide Strikers. In the meantime, we're riding with Alex Court, who's very close to the wall. That was a little bit too close for comfort. Court and Bidgood, 3rd and 4th at the moment. Trying to stick with Richard, who's trying to go with Zach Christie as well. And Christie's the leader by 0.7 of a second. Banerjee is slowly but surely finding his feet here. Finally, slowly but surely getting comfortable with it. 4 manufacturers in the top 4 at the moment. They're all European. 3 of them are German. A Lambo. Good to see the Lambo back getting some love from Alex Court, the exception to the rule there. In 3rd place. Top 10 invert as soon as we're done here. And overtaking is doable on this circuit, just not always easy to execute. So keep your eyes peeled in that second race for a little bit of carnage. Lap 5 of 16. Christie setting a good pace at the front end of town. Now we had 29 starters. Dean Eldridge parked up. He's out of the race. Bradley Curtin's down on 2 laps as well. It looks like he's parked up as well. Looks as though those 2 may have already left the server, knowing full well that there's a second race. They can, balance up the ledger and try and make the best of a bad situation, get a second bite of the cherry and all that sort of crap. But looks like they might have parked up, and not just for the race, but for the night as well. Positions gained, worth having a look at this point in time. Lee Roberts in the Audi, 5 spots gained. Neil Gladwin and also Jordan Ferguson, 4 positions gained each. Aidan Schultz not mucking around here. He's up 8 spots into 17th from 25th on the grid. Tristan Koch is up 5 spots as well. James Boardman and Lockie Beresford and Rick Jones all up 7, but that's not necessarily a fair reflection, as they were all due to start behind the likes of Paul Wood and Wayne Visser that didn't take the start. So they'll say 7, but a couple of those were by default. Some replays for you. James Boardman. Uh-oh. Loses the back end. As does Philip Butler. Back live, Alex Court still under pressure here. Tom Bidgood in fourth place, second in this battle. They are trying to go with Christie and Banerjee, but they're not able to do so. They're only a second away. But it's not necessarily the end of the world for them, Adam Lavis, because if they can finish there, they'll start a row in front of those blokes in the next race, and we know that it's an accumulated point situation that'll dictate who wins tonight. Who wins the round?
Indeed, yeah. They got the sort of the race wins are obviously still key, but if you do manage to sneak a round win in, obviously you're going to put that in your little bragging cap and let people know about it. So it's always good to just any win's a good win.
Absolutely. Matt Renshaw tried to join in the big hitting, but gave out to the man at deep square leg, and it is now 4 for 202. There is Aidan Schultz crashing into the wall. Poor old Schultzy. That's giving the car a fair whack that it won't recover from. He's on the tow rope and in the pit lane. He's been there for a while. We'll get a second bite of the cherry very shortly. An old mate of mine, William Yarwood, good to see him back in 7th place. Start of the new season. And William remains very loyal to the Bimmer. So at the moment, 1 Audi, 4 BMWs, 2 Mercs, 2 Porsches and a Lambo in the top 10. So BMW very well represented at the top end of town. Interesting to see, Adam Lavis. I'm very interested now to have a look when we get to the pro split in just a few moments' time. Well, I say just a few moments. We're already halfway through this race, folks. 10.5 minutes gone, 10.5 to go. We're on lap 9 of 16. No splash and dash requirements in this race. That'll be in the next one. It is very interesting that all the talk pre-Christmas was going to be about that new Audi. That new Audi was coming to iRacing servers and circles, and it was going to reinvent the wheel and bring Audi back to the fore. How many drivers in this field are behind the wheel of an Audi tonight? 2. Make a note of that. Let's see if there's more love for the Audi when we get over to the pro split very shortly.
I'm sure there will. There'll be a few guys who like it. It's just I think it's still it still has the same characteristics the old Audi had. So it's one of those cars you either love it or you hate it.
Wicket starting to tumble at the Carrara Stadium. Lloyd Pope's got 2 in the over, 5 for 202. Only 13 balls left in that innings. Sean Benici confirming to us that he'll be in an Audi this season. Here's Alex Court still hassling Richard Banerjee. In fact, he's latched back onto Banerjee and still with mirrors full of Tom Bidgood trying to actually get rid of him, fend him off, keep him at bay. And Court's not able to do that at this point. So it's a sign of how competitive things are going to be in the AM split this season, which is good because we'll be bringing you quite a few. Yep. Sean, I can relate to that. I had a niece that I had to look after on a few occasions over Christmas, trying to say bedtime. Yeah, may as well have spoken to the brick wall. 10 of 16. Fair indication here that we're going to have a strong, healthy, competitive field in GT3M this season, and we have done for a while. Have a look at this. That was Alex Court having a look up on the outside of Richard in the BMW. Banerjee kept him at bay. Court did well there because he didn't want to open the door in the process of trying to find a way by Banerjee to Tom Bidgood and invite him through. Bidgood wants a sniff, won't have it just yet. That's true. That is very true. Or jump on you at 6 o'clock in the morning when you still want to sleep. Zach Christie is the leader here. Only a second, but that's good enough at the moment. An inch is as good as a mile in this caper. Just about clocking consistent lap times at this point. Court now. Needed a good run off the infield section of the circuit. Got it. Put himself up on the inside. Got by Banerjee. Finally a move in the battle for second. The battle for the minor placings. Court goes to second on the inside to the chicane on the back section of the circuit, the bus stop. Alex Court in the Lambo is second. The heats are 6 for 204. I'll get you a tennis update in just a few moments. I haven't got enough monitors tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's 11 of 16. It's becoming 12 of 16 now for Zach Christie. Completes lap 11, starts lap 12. We're 5 from home trouble. Roadblock. Tristan Koch caught up in all of that. And with him was Adam Holland. Yep. Went for the gap, it closed up on him, and I think the wall also got him as well and bumped him back out into Koch. Unlucky. The brick wall is there. It's not invisible. It will get you from time to time. Back we go. Banerjee's fallen off now. Wow, what a difference a lap makes for Alex Court. Got by Banerjee, who's now under pressure from Bidgood, and took off. He's already put 1.4 seconds between himself and the pack. The pack of 2 now. Alex Court. So bided his time waiting for his moment, played the patient game, would no doubt have been frustrated with the fact that he hasn't been able to find a way by. Now that he's got by, he's showing the true pace and potential he's got. Watch for Alex Court in race 2. We'll bring you the results at the end of the second race for the Pro Split, which we'll be turning our attention to very shortly. This is lap 13. It is Zach Christie from Alex Court. Banerjee under pressure now. Bidgood down the inside. Almost a touch. Banerjee keeps him at bay for the moment. Whoa, there was contact there, I think. Didn't get a good enough look at it, but I tell you what, Bidgood's found his way through, taking Brett McMullen with him. Banerjee's now under pressure from Morgan. Banerjee's dropped off the podium. Banerjee's 5th. We'll need another look at that, I am sure. Is there a case to answer? Will race control have to look at something there? We'll find out. But Banerjee, he'd been under the pump and feeling the pressure for quite a while. Now he's off the podium. What would be a 5th place finish would be a 6th place start. Next race, he's done that all on his own. Oh, wow. Oh, dear. You turn your attention to the rider's screen because that's where your drink cup is sitting, ladies and gentlemen, and it's important to keep the fluids up on a 45-degree day as it was up here today. And all of a sudden, you miss the action. It happens 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you. Have a look at this now. Jordan Ferguson. all over the back of Matthew George. Can't get it done. So Ferguson flying the flag for Ford. Someone had to. And that time by he gets through because Matthew George cut the corner through the chicane, through the bus stop. 2.5 laps to go. Christie's on his way home and Courtney's narrowing the gap, reeling him in. 14 of 16. Becomes 15 of 16 as Christie comes onto the main straight to start the penultimate lap, crosses the start-finish line. Ferguson is 16th. This field is very well spread out. We've had a couple of pit stops. We had Jordan Ferguson in for 4.45 seconds. So it's a case of what might have been for him in 16th place. And Adam Holland came in at the end of lap 2 as well for 4 seconds. So he's out there in 20th again, ruining what might have been. Christian Koch is a lap down, as is Adam Johnson, as is Chris Stark, and Lockie Beresford is 2 laps down. Josh Thomas is in pit lane and has been for 7 minutes. Schultze's departed. He's parked up for the night. He's had enough. He won't be back. Alex Court going for the lead. The gap wasn't big enough. Oh, no! Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Zach Christie made the mistake going into the bus stop. Has he got away with it, or is there an invoice to pay?
You would think there'd be a slowdown,
Will
surely.
there be a slowdown? He cut that corner.
There it is.
There is the slowdown.
Oh.
Court's going through on the inside. Contact. Christie trying to shave the time off the clock to avoid the penalty from iRacing. And Court's come through and nearly cleaned him up. Alex Court leads at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we're on the final lap. This will be the most nerve-wracking lap of Alex Court's life. The chance presented itself on the back straight. The only mistake Zach Christie's made all night. And Alex Court leads. And what a magnificent drive it's been as well. The pace has been relentless since he grabbed some clear air there a moment ago, and that was Christie nearly scratching the wall as well. He's got one last opportunity, Christie, but if Ford can get through the bus stop unimpeded, I think he'll be okay. They've got lap traffic to encounter potentially as well. Oh, that was a moment. Christie was trying to find his way through on the inside. Watch the last corner, Alex. Watch the last corner. What line do you take to defend? You've got to get your braking marker right. Here comes Christie to the inside. Not going to get it. Won't be enough. Alex Court, welcome to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club into victory lane on night 1 of the season. How about that? New member of the club, part of the team with Aidan Schultz, and in victory lane. Whoa, boy. The Lambo has arrived, and so has the Tasmanian. What about that? You need to buy a little bit of luck sometimes in this game, and he certainly did that. First, it was trying to find a way by the roadblock that was Richard Banerjee, and then it was trying to find a way past Tom Bidgood. And once he did that, he had a second and a half deficit to overcome. The clear air was exactly what he needed to buy. He did that and made it work to his advantage. The one mistake Zach Christie makes, it costs him the race. And those guys will now start 9th and 10th for the next instalment of round 1 of Waste Options GT3 AM on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. But we're not going to turn our attention to that. We're going to turn our attention to the Pro Split, ladies and gentlemen. Results from race 1 of round 1 for the AM split saw Court from Christie, 0.39 the margin. And Yeah, and Christy talking about getting blocked by a back marker as well. That does happen in this caper. But it also that mistake at the bus stop on the penultimate lap also didn't help. But Tom Bidgood, Brett McMullen, Richard, then Chris Morgan, William Yarwood held on to a lucky 7th. Patrick Frame, Dale Sharp, and Scott Wooden, the top 10. Oh boy. That makes more sense now. Yeah. So Zach's alerting our attention to an incident that we didn't actually see. Alex was able to catch up because Christie got blocked by a back marker, or balked by a back marker, I should say.
And no pun there with Alex caught up.
No, that's right, exactly. Oh dear. Right. Everybody, take a breath. Wow. What about that for some exhilarating excitement on the opening night of the new term? Quick break, back with more. We continue our coverage on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club on the other side of this short break with Waste Options GT3 Pro, the second race from round 1 from the Charlotte Roval Motor Speedway in North Carolina. This is night 1 of week 1 of term 1 for 2024. It's great to have you along for the ride. Alex Court gets the job done in the first sprint race of the night. We'll wait and see what these guys get up to in their second installment. We'll bring you those results after the Pro Split race is done. That's where our attention turns to on the other side of this short break. Hope you can stick with us and hope you're enjoying the first installment of Monday Night Motorsport for the new season. Don't go away. company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia, all around the world, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Welcome back. Nice to be at your place on this Monday evening, the 22nd of January. Our first instalment of Monday Night Motorsport and Waste Options GT3 for the new season. We, of course, have brought you the sprint race, the opening sprint race for GT3M, and now we're turning our attention to GT3 Pro. We were asking the question earlier about what we'd see with regards to the love for the Audi. Again, 2 teaspoons of sweet FA. Unfortunately, as we have a look at the grid for the next race, it isn't all Audi front row, but this is, of course, a flip on the lid of the top 10 from the opening race. Matt Dench in a BMW. Here we go. This is exciting because that's one of the manufacturers that he hasn't ticked off the list yet in terms of cars that he's won a championship in. He hasn't got many to go. He's an 8-time champion in this case for a very good reason. But Greg Heaney and Daniel Hill will lead us off from row 1 in the Audis. Paul Wood, Dane Snowden, Jared Knight, Chuk Wan Wong, then Jonathan Hooper, Richard Mitchum, John Merritt, and Matt Dench. The top 10. Ash Collins, Gary Cousins, Mark Foster, Daniel Correa-Sarr, Ryan Mulder, Riley Jones, Craig Mason, Stuart Thompson, and David Baz make up the field of 19. There are some new names in there to me, as well as some of you tuning in at home, no doubt. But exciting to see. Well, Mark Foster's in a Porsche. That's a change of pace. Matty Dench is in a BMW. That's a huge shout out for the cards. There's a lot of love for the BMW and very little. Only 3 Audis on that grid, and there was a lot of talk over the off-season as to how many would take up iRacing's drop of the new Audi, and the answer is right there for you tonight. Very, very few. Obviously not enough of a difference or an improvement car to car for their liking, the competitors that is, and therefore a lot of testing and trialling would have been done throughout the course of the off-season to work out what car was going to be best for the 10-round campaign, which we'll have a look at the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen. We've run out of time to do that. We'll have a look at the schedule and what we've got in store for you over the next 9 weeks very shortly. But in the meantime, we're ready to rock and roll. 37 minutes here. A slash and dash requirement, as per usual. Let's hope for some good entertainment here as we get ready to rock and roll. Top 10 invert always throws up some good fireworks. Let's hope tonight is no exception. They come to the line. This is much better from the pro split compared to what we saw from the AM blokes. 2x2. Let's go racing. Let's get to work. Down to turn 1 we go. Heaney and Hill side by side to the first corner. Top half dozen somewhat sorting themselves out in a single file formation. And then beyond that, help yourself to a clear bit of real estate if and when you can. Lap 1 of 28 here for you, ladies and gentlemen, over 37 minutes. There will be a slash and dash component. We'll get an indication very shortly as to how early into the race you can come in and top up, and therefore we'll work out how late you can go as well. Heaney, Hill, Wood, Knight, Fung Wong. Dane Snowden's dropped 2 spots off the start. Richard Mitchum, Matty Dench already up 2 spots. Already under the tail of Mitchum. Down to the bus stop for the first time. Mitchum not mucking around here, trying to get by Snowden. Richard Mitchum on the tow rope and on pit lane. What the hell has happened there? Dane Snowden has come together with Richard Mitchum, I would say. Dane Snowden is pointing the wrong way at the bus stop. Oh dear. The seas have parted for Matt Dench, up 6 spots on the opening lap. Goodbye. Forget about it. The rest of the race has just been flipped on its lid because of this moment here. Oh. So Dench has come through on his own. Oh, no. No. So whatever happened to Richard Mitchum was separate to that. Dane Snowden, it looks as though there's been car-to-car contact. Dench on Snowden. Have a look at this. Richard Mitchum's... Oh, no. Okay. And one of the Bailey Ladders cars might have been... was it Woodsy or was it... Let's have a look here. It was Gary Cousins who got this hit from Richard Mitchum. There's a fair bit to pick apart here. Mitchum's launched it into Cousins. Cousins smashes the wall. And then, whilst Cousins has smashed the wall, Snadden's come together with Dench. Race control's got a bit of work to do here and a little bit of garbage to pick apart. We'll have another look at the Snadden incident in just a moment. Richard Mitchum and Dane Snadden remain on pit lane. Mark Foster was caught up in all of that and is parked up for the night. He's done. Meanwhile, Daniel Hill is fast becoming a roadblock. Nice to see him on the grid, and I must say, actually, it was nice to see, and I've got the photo there as evidence and proof, and I'll upload it into the club group page on Facebook a little bit later on. Nice to see Mr. Hill and Mr. Cox, Simon Cox. Oh, there we go, floodgates open now. Daniel Hill has been passed by Greg Heaney. Heaney to the lead. And on the inside of Hill is Jared Knight. Uh-oh, this could get ugly. Dench is down on the low side trying to push Jared Knight through. Hill and Heaney have been hung out to dry. Knight and Dench. Stalwarts in this caper, mainstays in this caper, and John Merritt as well. Down the inside. Merritt goes to fourth. Couldn't get by Hill. That will no doubt look to make light work of him in the next lap or so. Merritt goes to fourth, up 5 spots. Dent goes to second, up 8. Knight goes to the lead, up 4 spots already. It's all of a sudden got very, very busy out on that racetrack. Is there an invoice coming Matt Dench's way, though, for the incident with Dane Snadden? That's what we don't know just yet. Merritt to the inside. And Mark Foster actually missed the start of race 2, so don't worry about that. That's why he's parked up and out of business. Did he run out to top up the drink container, or run out to empty the tank, complete the compulsory personal CPS, and then not get back in time? I'm not sure. That's unlucky for Mark Foster. We were looking forward to seeing him have a run in the Porsche, I must admit. Johnny Merritt, 1:16.54, fastest lap of the race. Oh boy. Can't quite yet make sense of what we've seen there. There's been... Firstly, how the bloody hell did Richard Mitchum end up collecting all the curbs on his way through? Dane Snadden's out of business. Paul Woods in pit lane and has been for a minute and a half, so something's happened to Woodsy. I've nailed the point. Thanks, Mark. Thank you for the confirmation. Lap 5 of 28. Let's have a look at it again. This is Richard Mitchum. Okay, so he's taken to the AstroTurf to try and avoid the car that was turning in. He's missed his braking marker. Then he's gone clip, hop, skip, jump, done. Right, this is what happened to Woodsy. Okay, so it wasn't Gary Cousins, it was Woodsy that got cleaned up. And then behind that is the main incident that everybody will be talking about, because it was Matty Dench and Dane Snadden. Okay. We might have to have a look at it from Snadden's angle if we can, Adam, because I can't see anything untoward on Dench's part there. It does, however, look like contact was made somewhere along the way, but Dench had nowhere to go. He was out of racing room if he needed to go left here. He went round the outside, up the inside. Oh, jeez. Did Snadden inadvertently flick left momentarily? Jared Knight, meanwhile, leads Matty Dench. These two have taken off. They've got John Merritt chasing them. Hill, Heaney, Collins, Hooper all dropping back. It's 2.2 seconds from Merritt to Hill. It's 4 seconds from Knight to Hill. Once the cream rises to the top of the crop, oh geez. Very rare that the noise of the on-track drowns me out, Tony Baker, but point taken, thank you. Lift your game, Capen. All right. Merritt, the fastest lap of the race, 1:15.935. And slowly but surely, We're running out of contenders. A fair rate of attrition in the early stages here. We expected nothing less. Concrete canyon, invert field, everybody rushing as though there's only one lap to go to get their way to the front. Like the final laps of a super speedway event in the NASCAR calendar. A lot of interest in NASCAR this year with Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, going over and competing. Jared Knight, the leader. Matty Dench, second. John Merritt, third. And we wish Shane all the very best, actually, with his venture over there, the Kiwi. How good are the Kiwis going? I mean, there's something in the water in New Zealand, isn't there? I mean, they've got a brilliant rugby team. They've got a great netball team. They've got a good cricket team. But their motorsport talent is, per capita, it's unparalleled. They've got McLaughlin and Dixon doing magnificent things in IndyCar. They've got a couple over in the likes of Formula 3 and World Endurance Championship racing. Brendan Hartley, of course. But now they've got Van Giz doing his thing in NASCAR. We're right on board with Matty Dench. It's a BMW 1-2. It's Ferrari 3. Merritt has been able to latch back onto this pair. And we've got three of the best in the club. Three mainstays in GT3 Pro at the pointy end of town and probably far quicker than any of them envisaged, thanks to the carnage here on the opening lap. Knight leads Dench, leads Merritt. And I reckon they'll be happy to just sit in here and follow the leader and let Knighty do all the heavy lifting right now.
It's one of the weird things with the BMW. It's got such a very small bird cage. It's very hard to see out of. So very limited view.
True.
Oh, you would never
Can we have a look at the can we have a look at the track and weather conditions just out of curiosity, Adam? There they are. So January 21, 2024, January 22, 2024. 4:22 in the afternoon, 19 degrees the ambient, 21 on track. Remembering it is still winter over in this part of the world. So we are heading for late afternoon, early evening, winter time, US Eastern Standard Time. 16 hours behind the Australian Eastern Seaboard, well, most of the Australian Eastern Seaboard, the progressive and civilised parts of the Australian Eastern Seaboard at the moment, folks. And Dench just content to sit there for now. Riley Jones, well, there you go. There's your bingo card filling up very quickly, folks. Riley Jones had an internet dropout in both races. How often do you see that? The answer is rare. I'd be contacting your internet provider or your power supplier and asking for a refund. But yeah, obviously with summer, storms, heavy power load with air conditioners blasting, etc. I can understand why dropouts happen occasionally and power outages as well. Ash Collins to pit lane. First of those that are still in the race to bite the bullet. Richard Mitchum's got back out onto the racetrack after 8.5 minutes on pit road. The biggest issue for him now, and I stress this, is that when he comes around, he'll complete lap 2. So he's just going to be okay. If he can stay only 7 laps down, he'll just be okay to get classified on 75% race distance. And that handful of points might end up being a drop round, but it might also be end up being all the difference between 5th in the championship or 8th in the championship, if you know what I'm saying. So Jared Knight, Matty Dench, and John Merritt, the top 3 here at the moment, and Merritt, the fastest lap of the race, the fastest driver on the track at the moment. 16.08 last time round for Knight, 16.06 for Dench, 16.2 for Merritt, 15.7 the benchmark at the moment for John Hotlap rather, as they make their way around to the chicane to bring them back onto the main straight. 20 laps to go becomes 19, 9 down, 19 to go, and these guys looking to run the tank dry. It would seem. Now, I'll quickly turn my attention back to the cricket here, folks. The strikers in all sorts early in the piece. 1.4 overs gone and they're none for 4. and they need to go at better than 10.5 and over to win the game of cricket. So it's going to be a very interesting night there at Carrara. In the meantime, it's 19 laps to go. We ride with Gary Cousins at the moment, who's chasing Jonathan Hooper, who has Ryan Mulder on his tail. They're staying with Greg Heaney, who's just trying to latch onto Daniel Hill at the moment, but Hill has breathing space. Hill is a comfortable fourth. That comfort disappears if he makes a mistake, though, I must stress. 19 laps to go. Becomes 18 across the line. Jared Knight, Matthew Dench, and John Hotlap Merritt. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Craig Mason clouts the wall. And race cars and concrete are not a good combination. Thirteen cars still on the lead lap. Richard Mitchum showing as 6 laps down. 6.5, if you want to get technical. Dane Snadden back out on the racetrack as well. Also 6 3/4 laps down. Paul Wood still on pit road, and I think Woodsy can park up at this point in time, give up. He's not going to be getting back out there and classified on 75% race distance.
Also, you remember the GT3 Pros, it's all or bust in the sprint rounds, no fast repairs. So
no, that's right.
If you as much as that was nothing to do with Woodsy, he was in wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately.
Pays the price.
Pays the price this race, and I'm sure you'll back at the bench. Oh, big move here by Hooper. But yeah, he's jumped straight back
got
up.
It done.
Yeah, he got his championship win last season in the end. He's jumped up and straight up into the top 10. So definitely found some pace over the off season. Got himself back into the groove with the GT3. So it's good to see. He'll be back back up in here and giving the rest of the boys, including his teammate Gary Cousins, some curry, I'm sure, next week.
Indeed. So Mitchum, Snadden and Wood all caught up in lap 1 incidents. Very costly night at the office for all three. Knight leads it from Dench and Merritt, but I think we know what's coming at him. We've been to this rodeo enough times now. 7 weeks isn't going to change the course of it. Matt Dench is just sitting there saving a few millilitres, buying himself some time in pit road. Great to have the season underway. Yeah, you do, Sean, but it's only 3 of them. Thankfully, it's 3 in the top 10, although Greg Heaney's going to drop outside momentarily as he's on pit road. But yeah, only 3 Audis. One thing will be interesting in the post-race show, why Denchi decided to go to the BMW. No doubt, I think I know what the answer is, but I'm going to let it come from his mouth. Merritt seemed happy with the Ferrari in the closing stages of last season. Not enough has changed for him to bother jumping ship. Jared Knight's been lord of the BMW for a long while as well. So, but I'll be interested to see how much time they gave the Audi, how much time a day they gave the Audi, if any, to see if they were contemplating taking the bait of the new car dropped by iRacing before Christmas or not. There'll be a BOP update coming in about week 8 of the campaign. It always happens. And that'll throw a spanner in the works, no doubt. Just for the last couple of rounds of the season. Ryan Mulder to pit lane. It's one of a flurry. Hooper and Cousins also in. It's all happening. long pit lane here at the Charlotte Roval too. Slow pit lanes. So Dench has Denchi's taken the lead as well. So Denchi's got by Knight and taken off. He's had enough of he's saved enough fuel. He's had enough of playing second fiddle and following the leader. He wants to go out and be the leader, and he's done just that. This is how it happened. Turn 1. Door left open. Jared Knight had nowhere to go but toughed up on the high side. Denchi forced the issue through 2, was on the outside for 3, but covered Knight off at 4. Have a look at that. Knighty got pushed out at turn 1 and 2. It's still going, half a lap's worth. And Dench finally, at turn 7, finally consolidates the spot, and Knight concedes defeat by yielding in behind. But it was interesting because, you could see that Knight wanted to force the issue and go with Denchi, but Dench, parked his car at a place where he gave Knight no wriggle room whatsoever. He had to go high. It was either go high or contact. Take your pick. Good result. 1:15.48. So straight out of the blocks, puts 0.3 of a second on Merritt's fastest lap. Or close enough to 3 anyway. As soon as he's released and as soon as he can go full tilt and open the throttle, we're never surprised by the purple box that quickly appears next to his name. It's a good result for Matt Dench, looking to score as many points as possible here tonight. And although that being said, I'll be interested to see what race control make of the incident with Dane Snadden, which we haven't seen from Snadden's perspective yet. From Dench's perspective, though, it looked like there was no movement whatsoever from that car. And if he went left, it would have been he would have been the sacrificial lamb in the concrete. A lot to pick apart post-race here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. The strike. Oh, well, that was, okay. Yep. That tells a little bit more of the story. Interesting. Here's Greg Heaney in the meanwhile. And I must admit, I don't know if race control are able to communicate with us tonight. We've got Kevin Henderson in one split, Lee Williamson in the other. We haven't seen any messages coming up on the screen as yet. So we'll get their take on things post-race as well. A lot of slip and slide going on tonight. For lack of better words, rear ends giving out. Dench, Knight, Merritt, Hill, Baz, Korea Saar, Fung Wong, Collins, Cousins, and Mulder, the top 10 at the moment. Top 6 yet to stop. Chook Fung Wong's just come to pit lane. Lap 8 was when Ash Collins jumped, so on those numbers, Adam Lavis, if 8's the earliest you can go, surely 20's the latest you can go.
Yeah, probably in the next sort of 8 to 9 minutes, or you see some people coming in for their stop. Or actually, be less than that. It's actually next sort of 2 or 3 laps.
Yep.
Pretty sure it's around 24, 25 minutes of fuel roughly on the full throttle to the floor, going fast fuel map.
I guess the saving grace here for Richard Mitchum is that he's less than 7 laps down on Matty Dench. Unfortunately for Dane Snadden, he is now more than 7 laps down on Matt Dench. So if he can't complete 21 laps in this race, Snadden will hopefully be okay to go to the end. Dench will need to splash and dash. Hopefully, hopefully for Snadden's case, he can get up to lap 21 and can complete the race and 75% distance to receive acknowledgement of his finishing position by way of championship points. In the meanwhile, Matty Dench leads this one from Jared Knight and has opened up a 3.5 second lead. Jared Knight, John Merritt and Daniel Hill, the next three through. We're following Greg Heaney at the moment. David Baz, Daniel Correa-Sar have come to pit lane, and Baz is back out on the racetrack in 6th place. Make it 7th as Gary Cousins slips on by. There we go. Live pictures of that happening. So lap 18 at 28. Dench will go as late as he can, I'm sure. So he comes back to the line to complete lap 18. As does Knight, as does Merritt. And Merritt's giving Knight a real hurry up here. Wait for that when they get to pit road. That battle could be determined by their pit lane transit. Baz down on the inside. Makes light work of Gary Cousins. To 6th goes David Baz, second best of the Ferraris. The best placed of the Audis at the moment is Daniel Hill, but he's yet to stop. BMW, Audi, Ferrari, Porsche, all in the top 10. The Lambo, Daniel Correa-Sar just outside, so nowhere near as much of a manufacturer spread. Oh, Chuk Fung Wong's had a shocker of a run through the bus stop. Not as much in the way of manufacturer diversity in this field as what there is in the Pro Split, in the M Split, I should say. Porsche, Ferrari, Audi, BMW, Lamborghini. So that's 5 of the 8. We're missing McLaren, we're missing Mercedes, we're missing Ford. Jared Knight, round a complete lap 19 and into pit lane to do it. Merritt goes to 20, as does Dench. Not surprised by that. Daniel Hill will come round very shortly and either come into pit lane or go on for a 20th lap. So just 3 cars yet to stop. You'd hope for Richard Mitchum's sake that he's got a full tank of juice and he's good to go to the end. He should be. But stranger things have happened. And if you're Dane Snadden, forget about it. Dane Snadden's not going to get classified. He's back in pit lane. What's happened to him this time around, I'm not sure. But Dane Snadden's had an absolute shocker. He's back on pit road, has been there for 1:10 and is now 9 laps down. Or about to be 9 laps down on Matt Dench. So this race has run its course for Dane Snadden. He won't be classified as a finisher here. Jonathan Hooper, and in behind him, Chuk Fung Wong nearly tripped himself up, but he's okay. Dench and Merritt to pit lane at the end of this lap, surely. No, Dench goes to 21. Merritt comes in at the end of 20, but Dench goes to 21. So even with 25 minutes on the clock, and he's in that safety patch where he can fuel up and get home, Dench wants to flex a little bit of muscle and add insult to injury. And not for the first time either. Extraordinary. Good stuff. Well done, Matty Dench. Back here we pick up Jonathan Hooper. Dench, Knight, Merritt, Collins, Baz, Cousins, Hill, Mulder, Heaney. So all 3 Audis now inside the top 10 and firmly so. 3 BMWs, a Lambo, a Porsche, and 2 Ferraris make up the 10 at the moment. So all 5 manufacturers in the top 10 now that Daniel Correa-Sar's found his way in. Stuart Thompson has come up short. He's pulled up in the last couple of laps in pit lane. Now Dench comes to pit lane at the end of lap 21. Thompson, Mitchum, Snadden, Wood, Mason, Jones and Foster have all fallen foul of either a technical issue or an on-track issue in this race. We know that Mark Foster got done on a technicality. He missed the jump. We know that Riley Jones has had an internet dropout, and the issue for both Paul Wood, Dane Snadden, and then add a third name to that in Richard Mitchum, and I apologise, I got caught out by my own sentence structure. Their issues are well documented. We don't know what happened to Stuart Thompson, but he's done for the night. Heading towards 10 Eastern, 7 in the West. The Bash Challenger is going the way of the Brisbane Heat at the moment. 3 wide from Monday night. Why not? Jonathan Hooper there in 10th place, desperately trying to fend off Daniel Korea-Sar and Chuk Fung Wong. And Korea-Sar under pressure there from Fung Wong, but kept him at bay. And Daniel's now outside the top 10, having just found his way in. Down the inside, John Merritt on Jared Knight. Can't get it done. So even with all the fuel saving and all the pace that Merritt's got on board, he was not able to get the better of Jared Knight in the pit lane transit. The battle for second is alive and well. Dench has cleared out to a 9-second advantage with 6 laps to go.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That's unlike John Merritt. That's very unlike John Merritt. I was just taking a sip of the cordial here. The lime golden circle cordial. And this is what happens. Every time I've looked away to grab the drink bottle tonight, something's happened. Bang. He did get a little bit of a clout. For his trouble did John Merritt. No harm, no foul for Jared Knight, but that now means that battle has dissolved. It's over. Forget about it. And it was the last of the live battles on the racetrack after that for Daniel Hill. Oh, what wretched luck for Daniel. Having run so firmly well inside the top 10 for much of this race, Daniel Hill is working with a slightly less than 100% working motor car all the way to the very end. A wounded race car. Ash Collins comes round. Chuk Fung Wong's on pit road. Daniel Korea-Sar, as a result of the incident for Daniel Hill, has got himself back into the top 10. Plenty happening in the closing stages here. Distinct look to that Lambo of Daniel's.
It's the
No doubt about that.
it's the side hustle colours, the cyan and pinky purple.
Yep.
Sort of a dark magenta.
Speaking of magenta, it'll be the Brisbane Heat up against the Sydney Sixers on Wednesday night. My allegiances are torn there because I've always been a Sixers fan and I've got the Sixers hat, but I'm also a fan of the Brisbane Heat. So Sydney v Brisbane. We've seen so much in the way of state of origin rivalry during the daylight saving window, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? The Australia Cup football final. The A-Leagues are at a fair bit of strife at the moment from all reports. All the footy grand finals, of course. There was the AFL grand final that was Brisbane up against Victoria, against Collingwood. You had the AFLW grand final was a similar scenario. But then you get your first dose of Queensland v New South Wales for the year in the month of January. Sets it up well, doesn't it? Whoa. Greg Heaney very close to the wall. They flirt with that wall. They flirt with danger all night long. And as long as you don't hear a thud on your way through, you're okay. Heaney under pressure. The battle for 8th. Jonathan Hooper. All over him like a cheap suit at the moment. Dench, Knight, Merritt, Collins and Baz the top 5. And we are 4 laps from home. 3 by the line next time for Matt Dench. clinical masterclass performance again. I mean, he leads by 6.1. That margin is dwindling for Matt Dench. It's now down to 5.9. It was out beyond 9 seconds, so I think Denchy might either be contending with a little bit of lap traffic, or he's just setting himself up to go for a purple sector lap soon enough. Maybe saving a little bit of fuel on his way to the line as well. I would suspect that it's a little bit of fuel saving because his pit time compared to Knight and Merritt was 7.45, while the other two were 9 seconds. Uh-oh. Greg Heaney loses out in the battle with Jonathan Hooper. Round the inside, up the inside, round the outside again. And Hooper goes through. Korea Sar sitting in 10th at the moment. Lambo humming along nicely. And it's 2 laps to go next time by the line for Matt Dench. Chook Fung Wong's on pit road, has been for 3 minutes, and will probably finish the race there. And if he does, he'll be classified on 75% race distance completed. This is Ash Collins coming unstuck. The rear end, gone. Again. How many times have we seen it tonight? A few players have been tripped up here. First night of the new season, first night of the new year. Always brings with it a degree of uncertainty, a degree of trepidation. Yep, these guys have probably all had some sim time over the last 7 weeks, but they haven't turned wheels in anger on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club since we signed off on December 1. Well, I was going to say, we signed off November 30.
The gap's come down.
Daniel Correa-Sar and I, it has. Dench is in a little bit of trouble here. I'm not sure exactly how much trouble he's in, but it's about to become very clear.
His last lap was a 19.85.
So Jared Knight is all over Matt Dench like a cheap
He's crabbing.
Knight's going through.
He's crabbing. He's hit the wall back onto the banking, I bet.
Okay, so Matt Dench has a walking wounded race car and is somehow persevering with that while others would have already given up. And Jared Knight has gone through to take the lead as Matt Dench limps this thing to the checkered flag. White flag in the air, and Knighty is the leader of the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That braking zone with a crabbing car would be horrendous coming off the banking.
Wouldn't it? Oh boy.
But you see, the rear was going to the corner before the front.
I can't quite believe that.
Oh no, Greg Heaney's in the moment too.
Usually flawless, usually unflappable.
It's very easy to do here.
Have a look at it.
So this is Greg Heaney, he's just gone wide in a moment. The next little 2 lefts, between the wall and the outside between the 2 lefts, there's a weird sort of thing with this wall coming up here.
Yep.
If you touch that wall there, it basically has really high damage profile. Just scraping it will kill your car.
Yep. John Merritt's now all over the back of Matt Dench. I think John Merritt's going to go to second rather comfortably here and handsomely up around the outside. And Dench can offer up very little resistance.
This is all going to try though, it's Dench.
He made life as difficult as he possibly could for John Merritt, but it won't be enough to deny hot lap second here. And all of a sudden, from out of the clouds, a rare lapse from Matt Dench gifts Jared Knight an outright race win in GT3 Pro at the Charlotte Roval. What about that? Well, that wasn't in the script. That was not in the script. But it just goes to prove the point that I was making before we got going. Before we got going tonight, Adam Lavis, and before that incident happened, I was making the point about how difficult this opening night of the year is because, well, we've had our tech issues here in the comm box and difficulties. But for these guys, they haven't turned wheels in anger in a competitive manner in prime time on a weeknight since December 1. They haven't done it on a weekend since the middle of December. I think it was December 17 was the final of the Enduros, because Christmas Day was the Monday after. That's right. So it's always a case of blowing out the cobwebs, nutting out the gremlins, and just finding your feet again.
I think this will be the latest. It looks like the last time his car was straight. So we'll see what happens here.
It's quite amazing. So, yeah, you always see somebody get tripped up on this night. Every year it happens.
This track and this wall,
let's have a look.
It always catches a little bit there, right? Just a little. No, another one.
3,
no.
2. Was that it? No.
Well, he's scrubbing now. Yeah.
There it is. Need to try and go on board with him and just see if there was contact with that wall. Let's go. Okay. We've got Alex Court standing by. We'll get to Courty in just a moment. That's a really bizarre incident for Matt Dench.
He's going to have to let us know. I'm not sure. What's next lap? Castle.
Okay.
Oh, I can't remember. It's hard to because the wall's straight. Yeah, the castle's straight here. It must be next lap.
Righto. We'll keep watching that. We'll watch it with interest. It's weird that I was like, it's almost as though the commentary's been in sync with what's about to happen tonight. I mean,
oh, there it is.
There it is, right there.
I think turn one. But it's the same wall. It's just the other side of it.
Yep. And that was where, that was the race defining moment. That was where it was won and lost for Matt Dench. He still came home in third, which just goes to show you how skillful the bloke is, how bloody talented and how freakish he is, that he could get a wounded car home in third place by 10 seconds. Just extraordinary. Knight from Merritt, the winning margin 3.4. And then a 1.2 second gap back to Matt Dench, Ash Collins, David Baz, Gary Cousins, Ryan Mulder, Jonathan Hooper. Daniel Correa-Saar made it 5 manufacturers in the top 10. You had 4 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, a Porsche, an Audi and a Lambo, and Greg Heaney. Actually, 2 Audis make that. So 3 Bimmers, 2 Ferraris, 2 Audis, Porsche. No, 4 BMWs. 4 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, 2 Audis, a Porsche, and a Lambo. I'll get there eventually. See, this is what I'm saying. Everyone's, a little bit rusty, a little bit dusty. First night of the year. It always happens. The results there will also show you too, folks, that there was a long list of retirements, but Richard Mitchum got home 6 laps down. He was the last of the finishers in 13th. We had 19 starters and only 13 come home. Right. Very shortly, we'll have the results from the second race of the AM split on your screen there, folks. But firstly, because I mentioned a moment ago that he's in the booth, and we were literally just waiting to find out exactly what the hell happened to Matt Dench before we jump into our post-race show. We'll do that now. I want to go back and revisit that first AM split race, if I may, and say welcome to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to our mate down there on the Apple Isle, Alex Court, and well done on P1 in that opening race, mate.
Hey, boys, how are we?
Very well. Nice to have you back, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while between chats, that's for sure.
Way too long. However, you and GT3, I'm still getting used to this.
Yep. Don't worry, I'll be in the V8s shortly.
I thought that might be the case. Let's talk about your race there, mate, because that was quite extraordinary. We heard after the fact that the first place driver that you overtook there with a lap and a half to go, yep, by virtue of his mistake, no doubt about that. But we heard that he got balked by lap traffic, which is how you were able to reel him in so quickly. We didn't see the incident in question. However, in saying that incident for Dane Snadden is still one worth talking about and having a look at, I might say too, ladies and gentlemen. It was Zach Christie as well, who I'm referring to here in the 41, that got balked. But his mistake opened the door for you to take the lead with a lap and a half to go, mate. You wouldn't have been able to believe your luck.
No, absolutely. Everything was a bit of a rush tonight because I wasn't even planning on racing. So, one, I didn't even know that there was a pro split, and Yeah, 2, I'd done no laps around here at all, so...
All right. First things first, you might see yourself. You might see yourself in the pro splits later on in the season. There are the results from race 2. Tom Bidgood from Alex Court, Zach Christie, Dale Sharp, and Scott Wood, Adam Chiplin, William Yarwood, 2/7 for Will. Philip Butler, Josh Thomas, Chris Morgan, the top 10. Lee Roberts, Rick Jones, Adam Johnson, Lockie Beresford, Tristan Kosh made up the top 15. 3.1 the winning margin, only 4 seconds covering the top 3. Not bad in the M116.3, the best lap of the race for Tom Bidgood. And of course, Bidgood had a very promising run in the first race as well. So the top 3, the only change there, race on race, was first and second by the look of that. And third. So they were in there in the same vicinity in race 1, just a different order. I want to stick with you though, Alex, and I'll get to Greg Heaney, John Merritt, and also Zach Christie in just a few moments' time. But when we talk about GT3, there was a lot of talk in the off season about the Audi. So you said that it was a rush job to get into the split tonight. Firstly, was it Aidan Schultz twisting your arm and saying you should come and have a crack? And secondly, why'd we go with the Lambo?
Nah, Schultz, he didn't have anything to do with it. He didn't even know I was racing until he joined after the V8s. So I was always planning on running GT3. I just wasn't going to race tonight because a couple of personal issues. But
Yep.
no, I've been running the Lambo in Weekend Warriors, now changed to Aussie Outlaws series.
Yep.
Yeah, and just gelled with it, so thought may as well keep running it.
And gelled with it well, mate. I mean, Bidgood was just one of the drivers you had to try and find a way by there. You seemed content running in that 3rd and 4th area, but once you were able to find your way by, and obviously Zach's been balked further ahead, and we'll get his take on that in just a moment. Again, we didn't see the incident. But that clear air was exactly what you needed, mate, but it took a while to find it.
Yeah, it took a little while to get up there, and I think that just came down to laps. And yeah, once I got settled and that incident happened, I was able to get into that clean air.
There are a couple of protagonists that have entered the room that I'm really looking forward to having a chat with very shortly, namely Knight and Dench. But Alex, to back first up with a podium finish in the second race, almost a perfect start, mate, and something to build upon for the rest of the campaign. Let's have a look at the calendar at this point in time, if we can, Adam Lavis, and remind everybody where we're going, what we're doing, and when we're doing it. So next week, oh God, let's hope we don't get a safety car. Suzuka. For 60 minutes there next Monday night, Jan 29, the originally planned intended start date for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club this season. I'm not mad. I was coming home yesterday anyway. Suzuka, followed by Alton Park, and that's for sprint racing. Road Atlanta, that'll be a beauty for 60 minutes. Okayama, an interesting choice for the midway point of the championship. The first of the 2 90-minute races is an old favourite. It's only on the back of the Festival of Motorsport unfolding down there in the middle of February, Mount Panorama Bathurst. Then the new circuit on the agenda is Mugello. Motorland Aragon will be interesting. Then the Hockenheimring and Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. So we start out with NASCAR territory. We'll get a little bit of Formula One venue tick-off going on there through Suzuka, through Okayama, through Mugello, through Hockenheim and Spa. We've got a MotoGP venue to look forward to, and also a couple of sports car and British touring car venues. So very good times ahead with this schedule. So, Alex, get your thoughts on that schedule, mate, and what your aspirations are for the rest of the season now that you've built something with this first night. Is it something to build upon, or is it the only way downhill? How are you feeling after all that?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at building onto it, that's for sure. Yeah, I reckon probably get up into the pro split at some point, hopefully. As far as the schedule goes, yeah, it looks reasonable. Obviously, Bathurst is a favourite of mine, and yeah, everything else looks pretty interesting. So should be good.
round 1, 3, 7 and 8 are the sprint rounds. The 6th and 10th races on the calendar are the 2 mini enduros over 90 minutes. Everything else will be that standard procedure 60-minute affair that we've become accustomed to here on Monday Night Motorsport. So, Cordy, when you say you're familiar with Bathurst, we know that everybody is. When you look at the rest of that, though, how much time are you going to have to spend in the rig to get yourself familiar with not just the car but also those circuits, mate?
Out of those, I mean, probably Mugello and Aragon are probably the 2 that I'm going to need to spend the most amount of time on, I reckon. Everything else I'm pretty familiar with.
All right, very nicely done, and congratulations on the result tonight, mate. The good thing about the GSRC is you got a couple of drop rounds up your sleeve, and you didn't burn one of them tonight. So you've ticked just about all the boxes you needed to. Well done. And are you going to race in anything else across the campaign? I know you've already highlighted supercars. That's an obvious given, considering your background. But anything beyond that?
Not too sure. I'll have to have a look. But possibly, yeah.
Can I recommend Formula V on a Thursday night, just quietly?
We'll see.
Well, I can recommend it. I'm not saying you have to accept the offer, but yeah. Nice to catch up with you, mate. Well done. Great to see the Lambo flying, and great to see you back on deck. Go well for the rest of the week, and we'll catch up next Monday night.
Thank you, Zach, and pleasure having a chat with you.
Absolutely. There he is. Alex Court. Very nicely done. Let's press on. While we're talking about the AM split, and then I'll get to the you blokes in the pros. Zach Christie's here. Unlucky. I mean, to be fair, there were 2 defining moments. We saw one of them live on screen, and that was you getting a little bit loose going into the bus stop section. But the other one, blocked by lap traffic, and you wouldn't be the first one to fall foul of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. A little bit of loosey-goosey moment. Love a bit of that. It's got to go have a bit of entertainment with that sort of stuff. But leading up to that, it was a bit unfortunate. I had another fellow Lambo in front of me. But I was like, please get out of my way, because I knew Alex was coming. Alex is definitely quite a fast driver. And I haven't been back in here for a while, so I've had a little bit of time away. So I'm back now. Just life getting a hang of it, but now I'm back and Alex is doing good. I know I was in pro last season, but then I stopped, so I'm good to be back in the pro-am and having to get a feeling of winning a little bit. But having to race Alex, it kind of made me tense up a little bit and give it a go. But when I saw him coming, I was like, I need to get a boogie on here. And then when I got the lap car, I was just lacking a bit behind there, and I saw him on my clacker, and I saw Alex go for the inside, and I may have decided to jump the chicane, which as everyone saw. But yeah, the rest is history. I gave it a red hot go on the last lap, but Alex got the better of me, and I was amazed on the second race. Alex came out of nowhere. He was in front of me, and I was like, where did he come from? But yeah, that's all right.
Okay, so actually 3 things with that before I get your thoughts on what's ahead. You've just seen the schedule on the screen there, but okay. So first things first, let's talk about that bus stop incident. I would have. Am I right in saying that you had a little bit of an invoice to pay because you did shortcut it?
Correct. I was going to do the corner, and I was like, I'll do the right thing and I'll straight line it because I don't want him to rear end me, because at that point I'm literally stopped. Yep. I was like, I'll straight line it. I'll do the good old jump and become a rally car, Porsche rally car. And then I tried to get it at the last chicane, but Alex sent it down the inside, and I didn't expect it. And I thought I was going to get it off, but I didn't. But it's racing. It is what it is, and I can't complain. I mean, I can complain that I did it, but can't complain. It's racing, so. Better, I'll just have to look at it and go, make sure I got to focus a little bit more and hope to get past those lap cars, because I still think I blamed it on the lap car, but that's all right. I just got to be a bit better with my overtaking.
Whether the lap car likes being blamed or not, it doesn't matter now because they're not here to defend themselves.
That's
However,
okay.
In saying that, car selection for this season. There was a lot of talk before we signed off for Christmas that the Audi would be the go-to car. It would appear to be that hasn't turned out to be the case.
Yeah, correct. With me, I've always loved my Porsches, and I actually started GSRC in the Porsche, I believe, back when I first started. So I was like, I'll go back to my roots, and I've always wanted the 992 to come into iRacing, and it finally came in, and I was like, you know what, to get back into the GT3 class in GSRC, and I also joined a new team, Whiskey Business, and my teammates in here as well. So I joined a new team, and I was like, why not just use a new car and get the season underway. We've got a new livery as well, which is very, very cool. So loving that. And yeah, the Porsche, yeah, it's a good all-round race car. I'm a person that likes to throw my cars around. That's my driving style. And somehow the Porsche actually is sort of to my driving style. I did try the Audi before I started, and don't get me wrong, the Audi is a very fast car. I can understand why a lot of people are using it, but I just wanted to be a bit different with the Porsche. I know it's only new as well, so just a bit different.
Indeed. The other question I had for you, we know that the Pro Split had all sorts of fireworks and garbage going on in the early stages of their reverse grid or invert top 10 race. How hectic was it in the early stages of yours?
In which one was that, sorry?
Race 2, when you went from the second place finish to a 9th place start.
Yeah. It was a bit, how's your father? But I was just like, you know what, it's a good part to go racing. So as much as I want to be ahead and be ahead with Alex and us two racing, it's good to be in the middle, in the mid pack to show our racecraft in terms of just getting around people, because it's the ultimate thing with racing is that you need your racecraft. And if you can pull off those overtakes and those one-timers, which a lot of people can do, it's pretty cool to show that your racecraft is up there as well. I know mine's probably not the greatest, but I'll give it a red hot go.
And as we said earlier, consistency is key in regards to these championship mates. And I mean, you and Alex have both had a very good start at the campaign. Let's see if you can go on with it. What are your thoughts on the schedule that we showed you on screen there a few moments ago?
Yeah, the schedule looks good. Charlotte, I've always loved Charlotte. Obviously, we just raced there. I remember a couple of years ago I did the Ferrari 488 challenge there, and I dominated all the officials, but that's another time. But Suzuka looks good. Alton Park looks good. As Alex said, Bathurst will definitely be a good one for all of us, because it's our home race, if you want to say. But Hockenheimring and Spa would definitely be very cool. A lot of the two enduros will be very, very cool too. The Bathurst, obviously Bathurst, and the Spa. So I think they're going to be some good races this season. I'm keen to stick around. I definitely want to see through the season as best as I can. Obviously, there's the drop rounds, as you mentioned before, so I'll try and use them wisely to the ones that I don't like. But they're all pretty good races, so it's all right.
Although I'll give you a bit of advice for nothing, and there's a few gentlemen in here that will attest to it. Don't just automatically not turn up for those drop rounds that you're planning on, because at the end of the day, one of those rounds might come back to bite you if you don't turn up and net some points.
Absolutely, every point counts, especially in a tight season. And if Alex and I are moving up, which by the sounds of it, you might be mentioning it, we've got to bring in guns blazing if we're going into pro, because you got the guys like Matt Dench. I'm definitely not as fast as him, but you've got to give your worth for what you're in there for. So if you're in pro, we'll give it a red hot go.
I'm just impressed that even with the hamstrung car, Denchy's still limped at home in third. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Hey, Zach, well done, mate. Thanks for stopping on by and having a chat with us. And awesome, look forward to catching up and touching base with you throughout the campaign.
Awesome. Glad to be here, Zach. Thank you for everything you do, and thanks to the guys for putting it on. And talk to you next Monday.
You certainly will. Consistency's key, and those two boys have started very nicely in the AM split. Righto, let's tear it to shreds and rip the Band-Aid off and talk pro with Greg Heaney, with Jared Knight, John Merritt, and Matt Dench, and also Paul Woods here as well. Woodsy, I'll start with you. You couldn't buy luck in that second race?
No, it didn't quite go to plan there. It was looking good, and the start of the race when I got on the grid, and then that was sort of it. I didn't get very far after that, and after the little dinkle, I had about 20 odd minutes worth of repairs. So I thought I'll come out at the end and see if I can. I think I qualified to still get some points at the end because I was still running. But I thought I'll take what I can get, and might help me down the track. But yeah, it was not a very successful outing. But the Bailey BMW was quite good and quite quick for my first outing, and pretty much a baseline setup. So I was quite happy with that, and allowed me to make up some spots in the first race. So overall, it was good. Even after the damage, it came out all right. But yeah, overall, it could have been a better evening. But what do? Move on to the next week and see if we can improve.
Indeed. And BMW, that's a change of pace for you, yeah?
It is, yes. It wasn't the one I was originally going to go through this season, but we're considering it for the Bathurst 12 hours. So I thought I'll get in and get some seat time in the car and try and do a bit of work on it in the series, and see if I can improve a bit and get a bit more comfortable with it. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But so far, I was quite happy with it tonight. So yeah, may have made the right decision. We'll see how the season develops.
All right, very nicely done. Yeah, nothing you could do with the flying Richard Mitchum coming your way. I don't think he executed the landing all that well. In fact, it probably would have been a better landing, albeit straight into concrete, had your beamer not been in the road for him. But nevertheless, we saddle up and go again next week. What are your thoughts when we do get to next week, mates? Obviously, Suzuka, great racetrack. Maybe not necessarily for GT cars, but it should throw up some interesting entertainment along the way.
Hopefully, yeah. I think it's not a bad track for you can have some good overtaking, that sort of thing. So it's a bit of an open track, probably a bit more here, a bit more overtaking opportunities than this one. But looking forward to it, especially to get out there and really stretch the legs of the BMW. It seemed to have a bit of pace there tonight, so I'm keen to see if it'll keep it at Suzuka. So yeah, onwards and upwards, and yeah, hopefully I don't have any more flying cars next week. So should be good. I'll get my roof fixed.
Okay. Ash Collins makes a comment there about two incidents that we've seen in this race, and I'm none the wiser as to what penalties have been dished out, mate, so I can't answer any of that for you at this point in time. I'm somewhat hopeful that someone from race... Actually, no, they're both gone for the night as well. So I was hoping someone from race control would come in and explain what's been going on throughout the course of the night, but not to be. We'll get to them next week. But in the meantime, whilst we've got you, Woodsy, good start for your teammates as well. I mean, not necessarily the result you were hoping for, but your team is well represented throughout both the supercars and the entree and the GTs as well.
Yeah, no, we're doing well. We're hoping to back up after a pretty successful season at the end of last year as well. And we've now got Dale Sharp has joined the ranks, so he's down in the AM split as well. So yeah, across the rounds we should have some good representation there. And yeah, we'll see how we go. He hopefully might be up in the pro split with us again as well, unless I get dropped back down to the AM split. But I'm crossing my fingers because I was a bit out of pace there tonight, and the old boys up front are quite quick. But yeah, that should be good. Looking forward to it.
And you mentioned that you weren't originally going to go with the BMW. Did you mention what you were intending to run?
I was considering the Audi, just because I've always liked the Audi, but the Merc was also on the cards. The Ferrari was okay, but just I think the style of car just doesn't quite suit my driving style. But yeah, I had Nick in my ear going, we got the Bathurst 12 hour, do the BMW, and I thought, yeah, all right, we'll give it a run. It sort of helped me to make my mind up, because I was thinking it was next week we were starting the season again, so it wasn't until halfway through today, and he goes, no, we're starting tonight, and I'm like, maybe I better choose a car. So that's why I wasn't in the V8s, because I just didn't have enough time to get everything prepped and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was kind of caught off guard, had no practice here, was in the original AM split before I realised that I was supposed to be in the pro split with the new UI. I didn't realise I had an invitation there, so I was all set down there and trying to get the car ready, so a bit of playing around to get all that sorted, so not a lot of practice time. But yeah, when there, like I said, the car was comfortable, I liked it. We'll go forward and see what we can get through the season.
All right, mate, very nicely done. And where else are you going to pop up racing throughout the course of the season?
Possibly the 86s, but definitely GT4s on Wednesday, and I'm thinking about the SF23 on Friday. As for other days, we'll see how I go. I'll try and get some more in if I can.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Won't hold you up any longer. Still got a few blokes to have a chat to here, but thanks for stopping on by and having a chat to us. Better luck next week.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
All right. There he is, Paul Wood. Very nicely done. Greg Heaney, let me go to you, if I may. Let's talk the night that was. You got the Audi into the top 10, and you did it twice. First time round, I didn't see, obviously, we were watching the AM split during race 1, but it gave you pole position for race 2. Unfortunately, you ended up back where you finished race 1, but just talk us through the early stages of leading the field and jostling with Daniel Hill.
Evening, Zach. Thanks for the telecast as well. Quite happy with the way the Bowens Audi performed tonight. I was happy to be somewhere in the top half of the field. I knew it was only a matter of time before Denchi drove away from the rest of us. I put up a practice session yesterday. Matty was a good 2 seconds faster than me, so it's just going to be a case of, all right, well, if I can hang with at least half of the field, I'll be happy with the result. The fact that I managed to pull out a 10th place finish in race 1, very happy with that. Ryan, unfortunately, tried to bite off too much of a curb and put himself around, so he ended up dropping back in race 1. Race 2, he managed to get himself back up to 7th. I was going to let him by after the pit stops, but I said to him, I said, if you're faster than me, I'll let you by, and then let him by not the way I intended to.
No.
But, no, I was, very, very happy with the car, and actually quite surprised that I got jumped to the pro split. But, on end of last season's performance, I'm not surprised in some regards.
Yep.
So...
And obviously there was speculation about the Audi being the go-to car this season. A lot of the field would argue that it isn't after a little bit of research and development and testing throughout the course of the off-season. But why did you opt to go for it?
New car.
New shiny toy for the garage?
Yeah, of course. New shiny toy. Got to drive it. But I'm happy with the car. It is a little bit understeery at Charlotte, particularly coming out of the infield section. I've found a little bit of an issue with that as it slowly got worse during the race, but managed to make it work. But but no, with any luck, depending on what happens with the split shuffle and when it happens, within the coming weeks we should have four Bowens cars in the pro split. Fred couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately. Otherwise, we'd have had 3 already.
All right, very nicely done. Obviously, time of the season, the early start, school holidays, etc., contributed to the absence of quite a few people tonight. Thoughts on the calendar, mate?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have to do a few practice laps and stuff around the next couple of races with Alton Park and Suzuka, I think it was. And then, but no, definitely looking forward to Mugello. I did do the officials through that one. That was a very nice track to drive with the Audi. Got to watch the track limit though. It's a little bit touchy on that one, but no, it's a great track to drive. So looking forward to that very much so. Bathurst, definitely looking forward to that. We're planning on Whiskey Business are planning on doing the OSR 12 with the Audi, so definitely get a tune up for that one.
Mate, very nicely done, and looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table and seeing if the Audi can be a key player throughout the course of the season. Well done on the 2 10th place finishes tonight, and we'll see you next week.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Thanks to Greg Heaney. Thanks to Zach Christie and Alex Court. Let's bring in Jared Knight, John Merritt and Matt Dench now. Here we are, first night of the season, and we're probably already running over time, but that's okay. It is the first one of the season. It's been a while between drinks. It's been a while since we've done work. It's been a while since we've had a paycheck. Jared Knight, John Merritt, Matt Dench join me now. Denchy, you had every box ticked, and then a bloody concrete wall got the better of you.
Yeah, we had some clear air ahead of us, and I was like, purple laps, eh? Let's go for it, and immediately into the wall at turn 1.
Yep. And let's be perfectly honest, this is not the first time where you've been a little bit greedy with the purple marker, because you've already had it lock, stock, barrel in the can. and then all of a sudden you press on for it, and finally it bites you.
Yeah, I just can't help myself, if I'm perfectly honest. I've always got to see where the limits are, and sometimes you find them very quickly.
Yeah.
And also, the interesting thing is, you're actually very lucky to get away with how you did, because you got it on this side of the wall instead of the other side, and you clipped the rear, so the car was still drivable. Almost every person I see does the other side. They usually get the front wheel, and straight away steering is gone. They go head on into the outside of the oval wall. So you got away with that as probably as best you could with that wall with its high damage rate.
Yeah, I actually did the exact same thing in race 1, but the contact was a little bit lighter and more square, and the car drove perfectly straight. But yeah, that race 2, it just hit the front right corner first and just bent it.
Unlucky. However, in saying all of that, nice to see you in a bimmer, mate.
Yeah, I was tossing up whether to do at least one season in the Porsche, because I just really enjoyed the Porsche, and I've drove a bunch of cars that not really all that fond of, but so we may as well just get this one knocked out, then we can jump back in the Porsche.
Indeed. Tick this box, win this championship, been there, done that, and then go back to the old creature comfort.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that Ford is already decommissioned, mate. It's not purchased to my car.
I love it. I love it. Hey, what? So let's talk about race 1. That went beautifully for you. Tick the box there. Race 2. You couldn't have dreamed of a better start. You bought a little bit of luck there. You had to avoid some carnage, but all of a sudden, 6 positions gained and on your merry way.
Yeah, the start went pretty well. It was just, always got to, especially on a track like this where there's not much room, like you can't really run off the track to avoid anything, so you just got to be careful, just be patient, and just sort of pick the gaps as they come. And we managed to grab a bunch of positions early on, and we just sort of followed Jared through the pack, and then a couple good battles there trying to get by. It was great.
All right. And nice to go with Jared on an even keel as well. But then you've got the prancing horse of John Merritt to contend with as well. So 3 experienced hands, and it was great racing. But it's a new playing field now for you, being in the bimmer. And I guess I don't know how Nighty feels about it. We'll find out in a moment. But being able to test yourself on an even keel, BMW versus BMW, with someone that's been there or thereabouts with you for a while.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how he goes. He might be able to pick up some lines and get a little bit of that extra pace and give it to me into the final lap. Should be fun.
Indeed. Thoughts on the calendar? Anything we're blackballing at the moment?
I looked what was next week, and that should be pretty fun. So yeah, really enjoy Suzuka.
So we're just going 1 week at a time, are we? We're not forward planning?
That's it.
There it is for you if you do want a forward plan. I know Modal and Aragon's on there towards the back end as well. Sprint rounds are always going to be worth having a look at as well. So sprint rounds, round 1, 3, 7 and 8 are the ones to keep an eye on. I'm excited about Magello. Denchi, are you?
I don't think I own the track yet, so we'll have to buy that
Not yet, he
probably,
said.
say, on the 3rd of March or something. So.
Yes, because the race is the 4th. Yes, well done. I like it. All right, very nicely done. Now, last term 4 last year, you said to me, don't expect to see me defending my Porsche Cup campaign. I don't think I'll be here every week. And you ended up still winning the bloody thing. Are we going to see you on Thursday night or not?
I mean, it's one of those cars where it's just a bit of like a love-hate relationship with them. Some tracks that it feels really fun to drive, and other tracks it just doesn't feel that enjoyable. So we'll probably turn up for a bunch of the races, but I don't expect to be on the field every race unless I'm like really bored. So
Copy that.
Who knows? We'll probably turn up 9 out of 10. So.
I love that Adam Lavis has just given up trying to fill that bottom line of Denchi's CV and portfolio. 8 Porsche championships, 8 GT3 Pro titles, 1 in GT4 and GTE, etc., etc., etc. Very nicely done. Hey, Denchi, stick with us here, mate. I've got another question for you in just a moment. Actually, because it's going to be one of those things that I want to talk to Merritt and Knight about as well, you may as well lead us off. The Audi, have you bought it? Have you had a play with it yet?
Yeah, I bought it when it first came out and drove it a bunch, and I honestly don't think it's as fast as the old one. I think the Lamborghini is just hands down better like mid-engine car at the moment.
Memo to iRacing, keep an eye out, and iRacing competitors and GSRC members, keep an eye out for that patch update that always drops towards the back end of the campaign. Thanks, Danchi. Stick with me. Might come back to you if we get a chance at the end here. Jared Knight, hey, first up, Happy New Year. Second up, you and Denchi and Bimmers, game on. And thirdly, if only you can find more concrete canyons, you might be staring down the barrel of more W's. That's a nice way to start the campaign.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise to see Denchi just start crawling back to us after he come out 10 seconds up the road. And,
that was a shock to us.
Oh, mate, I had no idea what was going on, and then yeah, I had some boys in my ear, and they said he's hit the wall, and yeah, we caught up to him, and yeah, we still had the little incident with John hanging over my head, and unfortunately on my end, it was decided that I was at fault in that one, so we made protest that incident, but yeah, we'll move on to next week.
I was going to say, fairly helter-skelter sort of opening stanza of that second race, Nighty. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, the start was with Richard getting sent to the moon off the off the curb. That was a bit of a Code Brown moment coming through, and it was unfortunate for Paul in front of me that he was the innocent victim in that one. But yeah, just sort of trucked along. Didn't have anywhere near the pace that John and Denchi had, and I think new name in Rolly Jones. He was quick in race one. I think he was just a victim of a dropout, so that put him back to the back, and I think he just called it a night. But yeah, I don't know. We might just be like the English cricket team tonight and just claim a moral victory for race 2.
Yeah, well, statistically it's a win, but yes, it's also a moral win. You're right. God bless the iRacing, iRacing matrix, mate, because a slight clip on the wall and Denchi's been reeled in. Hey, coming back to you in a moment, Denchi, there was one incident that I didn't mention with you. Was there any contact with you and Dane Snadden, please? Because we had about 15 different looks at it and there was a hair's breadth in it. Are you there, Denchi?
Oh, sorry.
We had him for a moment, and I think we've lost him again. No, I was just wondering what happened with you and Dane Snadden. Lap 1, race 2. Here it is. There was a nose hair in this.
Yeah, coming through the chicane there. Yeah, there was a bit of a check-up, and I just got around the outside, and I was up against the wall, and I couldn't go any further left. So I think he just kind of maybe squeezed a little bit tight, but yeah, it's just like really, really light touch, and he just got sent flying, unfortunately.
All right, very nicely done. Unlucky for Dane Snadden because he, Paul Wood, Richard Mitchum, they were all done and dusted by that point, just about. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Hey, Jared. That being said, it must have been nice to go toe-to-toe with Denchi in the early stages. He led for a little bit, but we knew what he was up to. He was just going to save just enough juice to skip on past you and make it home comfortably. He didn't wait as long as we anticipated, but then you had to contend with Merritt as well.
Yeah, it was. I could actively hear him running high gears, sitting behind me, which was a little depressing. But yeah, when he decided to, I was trying to frustrate him a little bit and just slow the pace up, and hopefully John might have made a move on him. But yeah, John was quite content to sit there. So I was actually surprised that John come out beside me after the stop. But yeah, there was yeah, when Denchi decided to make the move, it was some really, really good clean racing. I think we were too wide for basically the best part of 3/4 of a lap. So yeah, shows the caliber of driver he is. And
here it is now. Right on cue.
It was sweating the whole way around. It was it was good racing.
We knew Denchi wasn't going to yield, but we knew that he would position the car exactly where he needed to make you yield. But credit to you, though, when you were pushed high at turn 1, you stayed there and forced the issue, and that's why we saw almost half a lap of 2x2 tandem work there, and Merritt with the best seat in the house behind you. And it wasn't until we got here to the midway point of the circuit where you were able to fend him off momentarily. That put Merritt up on the outside of... so you've done that twice, actually, because the second time around he got the job done and consolidated, obviously, and Merritt up there around the outside trying to force the issue as well, but unable to do so. It's almost like you're following a roadblock, John, when you got Dench on the inside and Knight on the outside. Nighty, we know you've been loyal to the Bimmer for a while, and obviously, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the mantra. In saying that, I don't know how many rounds I'm going to actually be able to contest this year, so I thought I'd just probably stick with what I know, and I think we'll probably miss more than the 2 drop rounds this season, so we might just play it by ear and see what's suiting the track at the time, and just cop the half points and just race for a bit of fun this season. But we'll see how we go.
And on the subject of getting ready for the new season, how's that 4-stroke card of yours going?
Planning on taking it up to Lithgow in a couple of weeks as a new endurance club that's just been formed, and they're running an adjoining sprint class as well. So yeah. I think Russ and I are planning on going up to Lithgow and running the sprint races on the Saturday, and then I think we'll miss first round of 4SKA. I think that's also in Lithgow, but we should be good for round 2 in Canberra.
All right, very nicely done. And hopefully I'll see you trackside at some point throughout the course of the campaign. And what are your thoughts on the upcoming schedule of races here on a Monday night, mate?
Yes, you're
Suzuka's next.
As you're well aware, Suzuka is not my favourite track.
Wedding already, no doubt.
Well, I'm already confirmed as an out for next week, so that's no great big loss to me.
Not to me, mate, no.
But yeah, Alton Park will be very interesting in these cars. It's a very tight, windy British circuit with in big GT cars. I think it's going to just be a battle of survival. To be honest, it's going to be a lot of nose to tail and not many places to pass. But the rest of the season doesn't look too bad. It's a couple of interesting tracks and a couple of old favourites. But yeah, we'll see how we go.
Indeed, we will. Very nicely done. Great to catch up with you as always, mate. I've got to get to John Merritt and then get us out of here. It is 10:40 Eastern Daylight Time already. We'll catch up with you. Will we see you on Thursday in the Porsches, or is that a similar what's the word I'm looking for? I've frozen after 3 hours on air. Thank you. Situation, is that I can't think of a better word, so we'll go with situation. Thank you, Adam Lavis. Is that a similar premise to the GT3s on a Monday night? Is it you've got to juggle a work schedule, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's work's probably going to take a bit of a priority for this season, or just the way it sort of looks at the moment. So I'll be there this Thursday, so we'll be running around at Imola, see if we can get a good result. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a intermittent sort of entry whenever I can.
All right, very nicely done, and we're looking forward to you seeing you on the circuit throughout the course of the season, mate. Well done tonight. A moral W, but a W all the same over the best in the business. So well done, and enjoy that, and see you next week.
Yeah, cheers, Zach, and thanks, Adam.
John Merritt, welcome back. Clearly happy with the Ferrari and stuck with it.
Happy season 1, Zach. Yeah, no, the Fezzes, the new Fezzes enjoyable. So ran it a little bit at the end of last season at Bathurst and so on, and so pretty comfortable with it at this stage.
Not just comfortable, but happy because, again, on the podium, again pushing Jared Knight and Matt Dench along, and you wouldn't have been able to believe your view when you were coming around on the last lap, and there's Matt Dench crabbing back towards you.
Yeah, I didn't know if he'd got fuel numbers wrong, and then I double-checked.
Well, that was my first thought.
I said, no, Matty doesn't get fuel numbers wrong. So, yeah, I wasn't sure what had happened, to be honest. So, but surprised nonetheless.
I think we all were very surprised. It's fair to say. I mean, the best in the business. What is it about opening week, John? And you know, because you've done enough opening weeks with us over the years. Opening week, it always trips somebody up. We're just, you know, getting the dustpan and brush out and blowing a little bit of steam off, trying to get back into the swing of things and go through the motions again. And opening week always proves that we're a little bit dusty and we need a little bit of work.
I get the syndrome. Doesn't matter what the lead is, you just want to push yourself and find the limits. So totally get it, and encourage it at all times to find that limit as long as it doesn't end that way.
Yep, absolutely. Have a look at the CV of Jay Merritt too, ladies and gentlemen. The Formula V King, 3 titles there, 2 in GT3 Pro, a Downforce Legends Championship or 2 as well. Yep. And the Racer Champions, current champion, and the TCR champion going a while back as well. So you got an impressive CV there, John. What are we going to see you driving this season, please?
Look, a little bit like last season. Unfortunately, Zach, life gets in the way. So whenever I can race, I will. I was pretty happy to make night 1 this season. So probably have a go at GT1. Whenever I can make a V race, I'll attend. And
good boy.
Mate, I'll pretty much have a go at whenever I've got time. I'll jump in and have a little bit of fun. So that's the motto.
I'm not lying. There will hopefully be 60 Formula Vs here on Thursday night. If we don't have 60 on Thursday night, I'll be very disappointed. Formula V Mount Panorama. Does it get any better to start the season? I cannot wait.
That'll be a bit tough on your voice week 1, mate.
Yeah,
I can tell you from experience, it's gonna be
wrong.
It's gonna be very different. You're going, if you get enough V's at Bathurst, it'd be very enjoyable for you as broadcasting, but it's gonna be very stressful driving.
Oh yes.
Because the last time we did it, they want to go 3 wide across the top, which is insane.
Yep.
I actually haven't done a race here in V's, or in gents, I should say, in V's. So I'll be trying to turn up.
Phillip Island's hectic, but Bathurst is another level again.
Oh yeah. Pack the grid, pack the house. Thursday night, do not miss it. The cricket on one screen, the tennis on the other. Of course, it'll be the Test match, Australia and the West Indies night 1 from the Gabba. It'll be women's semi-final night from the Australian Open, and us here ripping and tearing with Formula V. It does not simply get any better than that. Hey, John, did you have a dabble in the Audi when it dropped?
No, I haven't bought it yet, Zach, to be honest. I had about 3 weeks off over Christmas, really, so a little bit like the other guys, maybe the Fez, not sure, or the Porsche for the Bathurst 12, so and a couple of guys had tried the Audi. I don't think it's the OP car, unfortunately. Normally the new releases are the car to choose, but I don't think that's quite there.
Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus, and certainly numbers on the grid reflect that. Think back throughout the seasons, folks, when we've had new cars drop and we've had BOP updates drop, and at one point there we were essentially running 2 Porsche Cups, except one had an invitational class of, other combatants with a minimalistic amount of other manufacturers represented, a sprinkling of them, if you like, on the GT3 grid. Audi's dominated in the past. BMW's had their turn. Ferrari. McLaren at one point. I'm pretty sure both Denchi and one Shane Wallace and one John Merritt have all enjoyed great success in the McLarens. No love for the Fords in the same vein, though, but if ever the GT becomes a Mustang, watch it climb. when you look at that calendar, John, I mean, obviously hard to gauge what races you're going to be here for and what races you're not going to be here for, but Suzuka's the next stop.
Yeah, probably Suzuka's fine. I don't think I own Magello and haven't done a lot of racing at Aragon, so probably a little bit of time to put into those two.
All right, very nicely done. As for tonight, consistency is the key to championships, and to get through the opening round and a very hairy invert second sprint race, that's a nice box ticked.
Yeah, well, it's nice to make round one, and by incident, the win in the last race there. It's not the way you want to win, but yeah, it's nice to have a couple of races reasonably clean and get the season underway. So was happy.
Indeed. Anything else that I can think of here? Not really, no. Glad to see you back on the grid, mates. I'm going to wrap it up there because we're pushing towards 11 o'clock. But, hey, great performance tonight. Obviously, second in that second race to Denchi's demise. And, of course, no catching Jared Knight there towards the end. But well done. Solid start. Looks like Ferrari and BMW are going to be duking it out again this season. We're excited about that.
No, thanks, Zach. Appreciate it as always. Thank you.
There he is, John Merritt from Echuca down there in Victoria. And may I just say how beautiful it looked tonight when heading towards 9 o'clock, you can still see semblance of daylight. Up here, anything past 7 o'clock, you're reaching for candles, torches, lamps. You get the idea.
Pitchforks.
Yep. Exactly. And they should be going towards the Queensland Parliament House with pitchforks, but that's another story. Hey, we're done. Night one of the new school term over and out on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. If you're wondering why we're on a Monday earlier than usual, we're adding 2 off weeks to the season this year. So it'll spread over 46 weeks, but there'll still only ever be 40 weeks of competition, 4 seasons, 10 weeks a hit. We finish on Good Friday, term 1. We reconvene after the Easter school holidays. We go again through to the middle of June, and then we reconvene early July for the start of the run home. Late September start for term 4 into early December, wrapping up on about December 6. So just every term is going to have a 2-week break following it rather than 1, 2 and 1 as it was last year. Hey, big thanks to all the people that make it possible for us to do what we do here, including Waste Options, Sprite Insiders, Player One Sim Gear, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Yep, we are done for night 1 of term 1 and week 1 of not just 10 for term, but 40 for season on the platforms of the GSRC. Tomorrow night, the Up and Comers series is switching it up a little bit. They're doing essentially what we did tonight in the entree slot. 3-race super sprint, though, their format, and it's the Up and Comers with thanks to Lobesy Racing. It's the supercar from Virginia International, and that's all getting underway from 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Alton Park on the agenda for the GT1 Civil War, as Pete Matson mentioned earlier. The International without chicanes, 9:15 Eastern Daylight Time, 35-minute race there. Wednesday night, there's no broadcast here, and you should be disappointed about that, ladies and gentlemen, because that is an awesome setup, an awesome agenda right there. Toyota Gazoo 86 Racing Series action from Interlagos in Brazil, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time, 2 sprint races there. And Orbic Australia GT4 to follow that from Mount Panorama Bathurst, a 60-minute race from 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, yes, a 60-minute race, very exciting times. They're starting the season with one of their mini Enduros. Best way to start it, as far as I'm concerned. Mount Panorama also the venue Thursday night. We back it up for Sprite Insider Formula V. Sprite Insider Thursday night Motorsport, in fact. It's a short one because it's short, sharp, jabby sprint racing for Formula V from Mount Panorama Bathurst. That will be huge. I want 60 on the grid, just so that we have 10 positional battles to call a lap. That'll be terrific. They're the longest lap in Australia, but it will be on in earnest from the outset. There will be some last lap thrillers there for us to enjoy. It is immediately followed by the Porsche Cup from Imola, and it's just a 40-minute standard procedure sprint race to get us going there. Friday night, we have a new Wings and Slicks car in the Super Formula from TBA at this point in time, one of our favourites. 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 2 sprint races there. More information on that later in the week. Mountain Men Saturday night, car to be confirmed. Joe Baldwin will hopefully do that in the next couple of days. And then next Monday night, we get it underway again with chalk and cheese. Supercars from the Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle Circuit in Michigan, 7:50 Eastern Daylight Time. And then a 60-minute race for the GT3s. And we will bring you the pro split on this occasion from the Suzuka International Racing Course in Japan. So we go Oriental next Monday night, Adam.
Indeed. And also, for some of the guys who might be interested, Matto's trying to get the old series of this V8 supercars and ovals on the Sunday nights. Apparently the league that used to do it has ceased doing so. So Meadow is seeing if you can try and get it going. Didn't get many people turning out last night, but I think it's just because it wasn't advertised. So if you're keen to have a bit of a blap in the V8s around there, as we used to do in the club challenge, he's going to try and do it a bit more regular and have just a bit of a fun night on Sundays.
And that also means that the Inter-Club Challenge is no more if the club that was doing it has folded. So that's...
Well, yeah, I don't know all the details, but yeah, man, I think something along those lines, because Mato said that, yeah, because they're not doing that anymore, he's going to try and cover that slot.
All right, very nicely done. Watch this space with regards to that, and no doubt there'll be some phone calls made and some messages sent with Pete Matson trying to get some broadcast for that somewhere down the line, I would imagine, as well. The GSRC Endurance Championship will be back for the new campaign commencing February 11. Make a note of that.
That date's still to be confirmed. Josh is just saying apparently he might have a clash, but he's hoping to squeeze it in February somewhere.
All right, copy that. Watch this space. Now we will have long distance races over 8 hours, short distance races over 4 hours,
4 and 6,
and 6 hour races for the rest of them there. First, Watkins Glen, Suzuka, Laguna Seca, Le Mans, and Motorsport to lead us off, and Spa, Fuji, Mugello, Nordschleife, Nürburgring, Germany, the Red Bull Ring, and Road America to bring us home. That is a very good calendar of races, no doubt about that. So lock your Sundays out throughout the course of the season, ladies and gentlemen. 12 races this year, up on 10 from last year, split into 2 different seasons, one across semester 1, one across semester 2, and all looking forward to what's ahead there in 2024. Well done. And of course, Suzuka marks the start of 2024 for Queensland. April 7. At the moment, they're stuck in 1912, but that's another story. Very well done. GSRC.merch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com for all your merch and club apparel, and get amongst that at your leisure, at your discretion, and we're looking forward to seeing what the rest of the ranks have got in mind for any potential new merchandise somewhere along the way. We're still trying to get rid of the old stock before we see if there's any worthwhile or any merit in putting some new stock on the site there. So gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Is there anything else, Mr. Lavis?
I think that's it.
Excellent. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Great. We're up and away for 2024. Season 16 for this club. Season 2024A or Term 1, whatever you want to call it. And it promises to be an historic season. It started in a thrilling way with some great racing from Virginia for the supercars and from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval for GT3. We're all looking forward to Formula V on a Thursday night. We're all looking forward to Mugello when we get to go and race there. We're all looking forward to our visits to Bathurst throughout the campaign as well. And before we go, I want to just quickly go around the grounds and let everybody know that the strikers have gone down to the heat in the BBL Challenger. The heat will go to play the Sydney Sixers in a rematch of the qualifier in the final on Wednesday night at the Sydney Cricket Ground. They win by 54 runs tonight, having just bowled the strikers out for 160, having posted 7 for 214, and Josh Brown's 140. That'll be on the highlight reel for a while. There's no doubt about that. In the tennis at Melbourne Park, we saw a big win for Carlos Alcaraz on centre court tonight, 6-4, 6-4, 6-love over his opponent, the Serbian, in Kecmanovic, in 1 hour 49, and then in just an hour, Zhang of China, 6-love, 6-3 over Dodin of France in the women's singles. And, of course, the Australian Open continues through Sunday. So a lot to look forward to this weekend, a long weekend. The Rolex 24, the Australian Open finals, the first of the T20s between Australia and South Africa and the women's internationals. And then, of course, the test match between Australia and the West Indies as well. But for motorsport fans, I hope that has provided the fix, the hit you needed after 7 weeks away. On behalf of the entire GSRC broadcast commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Cabin bidding you a very good evening. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Congratulations to all our winners across the server. We didn't have a repeat winner tonight, so that means Super 2, Super 3, GT3 Pro, GT3 AM all had different winners, whether it be a 1-race or a 2-race format, so that is good to see. Sharing the love from the outset. Not as much love for the Audi as we may have anticipated, but we've got a tantalising manufacturer battle on our hands regardless. And Denchi, he'll be ruining that concrete wall for a little while, I would imagine. I hope you can come back and join Daniel Correa-Sar and I on Thursday night when we get Formula V and the Porsche season underway. Until then, on behalf of Adam Lavis and the crew, I'm Zach Cabin. Have a great evening, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week. 2024 up, and away. We're pumped to be back. We hope you are as well. See you next time. Bye for now.